folks, just in case it has any implications for other social media names, be aware X's CEO says that after 2 years, decided to step down as CEO of X. So Linda Yaccarino stepping down after 2 years as CEO of X.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a while since we've done a live stream. What is up? I was like, yeah, you know, I might go live today. So I'm going live today. Pumped. Let's go over here. Let's see, we got Billy Bob, what's up? Exotic, hey. Prime sub for 7 months. Oh my god, he's just about damn time. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done a live stream. Morning, Barkster, Doppler. What's up? Good morning, No, Brian, Chase, Raul. What's up? Glad to be in here. Do some live trading if anything kind of opens up for me. Did a little trading this morning, trying out another prop firm, testing one out, seeing if I like it. I'm still with, obviously, Tradeify. It's been going pretty good, trading some NQ. We'll take a look at the markets here, and we're going to some swing trades too, because it's still really a swing trading environment for me. All right, let's hop in here. Let's hop in here. Lower this music in the background. Okay. Wow. Good morning. It's been a minute. Don't even know what to talk about. It's been so long. But that's okay. Let's take a look at first just the market for the day. We'll look at expected moves, where we stand within the week. We'll look at some gamma levels, market net flow, get a good sense of kind of direction. We'll look at some intermarket assets. Then we'll go into some individual trading names here too as well. And then, by the way, so, you know, you can ask me questions, whatever you want. This is kind of a non-formal live stream, as most of them are. So you can go ahead and in the chat ask me questions about kind of whatever trading stuff, individual names we can look at, strategies, whatever you want to talk about. Consider me just the hotline right now for whatever kind of potential support or ideas that you want to bounce around. Okay. Huzzah. Huzzah. Okay, so let's look at SPY right now on the 15-minute time frame. We're still above that rising 5-day moving average. That's a synthetic 5-day moving average, right? It's a 130 period moving average on the 15-minute chart. We came into the daily implied zone. We basically came into this little last candle low from last week, and we kind of found some resistance in that implied zone area. And we're kind of sinking back. So if the market wants to sink from these levels, if it continues off, we'll take a look and keep an eye on that week-to-date anchored volume weighted average price. Okay, that has acted as a level of resistance. Then it's been this little fluff area over here, so it can act as a potential level of support. The 5-day is still inclining, so this could be a level of interest if the market wants to come down there. I'm watching the market kind of tumble off right here, so I'm keeping an eye on the tick chart. I like to look at the tick chart for extreme readings. If you didn't watch that video, you can go watch that video. That's the strategy that I use for just trading the prop firm when we see some volatility. We haven't had a good reading yet. Actually, it's been a while since we've really gotten any sort of reading. I think we got one just yesterday, but it was to the top side. And then the day before when there was some tariff news or the trading, I think it was Friday. It was Monday. I can't remember if it was Monday or Friday. Okay, so I'll keep an eye on this as we're kind of sinking off a little bit here, but we're still positive on the trading session. What just happened? Okay. We'll take a look at market net flow. Market net flow has been bullish all day, but you can see we started to lose kind of convergence. Meaning,
for those who keep an eye
simply
on
put, the SPY started flattening out.
Just confirming it has
right?
extended deadline until
it didn't move with the divergence. So that means convergence was kind of waning here.
Banco, Intercam, and Vector.
And then once you go, gray, that means that it really is no convergence between the convergence, divergence. God, these names can get so kind of convoluted, but basically it's just telling you that the line was flatlined, the red line was flatlined, and then SPY was flatlining. So SPY was not moving with this divergence right here between the cumulative net premiums of calls and puts. And when that happens, you can have counter trend potential moves. That's what that convergence kind of signal is there. So overall, it's fairly bullish. However, we must have gotten some news over here because we had a lot of activity in zero-date flow kind of pick up.
And for social media names, TikTok preparing US app with separate algorithm and code base.
I wasn't on
sources. Again, this is a
paying attention while this happened.
I've had some reporting of this theme over the weekend.
Okay.
TikTok's new US app preparing to operate separately from the rest of the world, according to sources cited by Reuters. Some ByteDance employees in the US will likely continue to work on US TikTok on outsourced basis, according to these sources.
This is a bourbon. All right, we're coming right back into this VWAP here. This is a VWAP I've been having on my screen. It is the NFP, non-farm payrolls VWAP from, I think it was July 2nd or July 3rd or whatever it was. So it's kind of a little bit of a level of interest right in here. At least I didn't move that yet. I think it was, yeah. Yeah, it's that one. Okay. And then as far as NQ goes, I'm looking at NQ right here. I don't trade NQ, but I like keep an eye on NQ. And then we have SPX on the left-hand side. NQ, this little 3 lines right here, this is the opening range. It's just the first 30 seconds of the market. So we're really unchanged on the day. We saw a nice big rally to start the day. So far, it's reversed itself. So we're at lows of the day.
Guiding a significant decline in earnings in Q2.
Ticks aren't giving us anything. Market net flow is bullish. Coming into the non-farm payrolls.
Q2 versus
VWAP right now.
Level.
Wouldn't mind seeing just a couple little tick bounce here. And then as far as the SPX goes, we have a couple 1 DTE levels to pay attention to. The first one that was kind of on the radar was 62.75. That was the call wall of the day. We came up there by a couple of points. We missed it. And then since then reversed to almost flat on the trading session. And then 61.95. So that was early morning session. Let's take an update here and see if anything's changed.
That did publish in Feb 2025.
We got 62.30, 61.95, 61.95. So it's still still right there.
So it's like a SZ.
62.30 is a little bit higher.
Downticks now on this.
So this 62.30 here could be a level of interest. So I'm going to just go ahead and clone this out, and then we're going to add that 62.30 so we can see what happens here. 30 text. And then we came into the non-farm payroll VWAP. Honestly, wouldn't mind just taking just a little MNQ right in these areas. And then build in, see if we can get down to 62.30. I don't know if I'm ready yet. I'll give it a second. What's up, John? What's up, Lakeside? Was Greg? Oh, Greg, I didn't even realize that was you that said that. Greg, what's up, dude? I read the was that bourbon and I didn't even look at the name. Greg. We got to go back to PF Chang's, go to the bar, get a drink, talk shop. All right. Thoughts on Tesla? Yeah, we'll look at Tesla. Give me a moment here. I'm still trying to get my gears set up. I was playing this non-farm payroll thing here. Give me a moment. All right, so for those that were watching right over here, I was looking at this non-farm payroll VWAP just to see kind of what happens. But we're still underneath the opening range. But you know, if you play the little tiny scalp there, get a couple of points at least. Okay. All right, back to this. Great. What's up, MS Trader? We'll look at run. Yeah, I'm going to bring up my notepad. So if anybody has any questions and stuff, just retype them in the chat. And if you want me to look at certain names, let me know. Because if the chat keeps on kind of like going and I miss something or I forget something, I don't want to forget. Okay. Make sure my alerts are set here. Little scalpy dalpy here and there. SPY pulling into and around that week to day VWAP. Ready to look at some individual kind of setup names here. You're in short of TTD and Qs. I think I have a position in TTD, but you're short. Why is it going down today? I should probably look at my positions, huh? Thoughts on TDoc? I'll look at it from a technical perspective. I'll look at run too. I saw that in there. XBI, yeah, XBI was exotic. That was actually one that I was looking at just the other day in Trade Ideas. I posted that one. Oh, Guild, yeah, Guild is yeah. I've been having an eye on that. I kind of forgot. I was also looking at ALAB, so we'll pull up ALAB too as well. See how that's doing today. I know it started off pretty decent for the day. I don't know where they're at now though. Coin, MicroStrategy, yeah, he's MicroStrategy looks pretty good too. I have such a hard time with trading things like MicroStrategy, so it has to be really small. And the only reason is because it just feels like just so scammy in a way. But the chart looks pretty good, or it looked good. I'll pull it back up. So it's kind of like one of those things is whatever. Yeah, I saw Wolf. I have Wolf written down. We'll pull up Pizza. We'll see how that's doing. I have a position in Pizza. Love me some pizza. It's a small position. It ain't nothing big. It's like a half size. It's a half pizza. It's a half pizza. I haven't really done much from a swing trading perspective here, but there's a lot of good setups taking place, and well, look at that. Are you using Anchor VWAP, and how do you decide where to drop it? Yeah, so I do use Anchor VWAP. I'll talk about that. I'm gonna write the question down just so I can come back to it. Okay. Personal pizza, personal pan. All right, SPY's pretty darn close to this week-to-date VWAP. The reason why I haven't hopped into too many names yet this moment is because there was kind of coming into some action levels where you can potentially play from. One being the non-farm payroll VWAP. We saw a little bit of a bounce there. Now it's kind of sinking down, so not that great looking as it once was right here, but we'll see. And then we have that 62.30 action level, which is also pretty in line with the week-to-date VWAP here for SPY. So if SPY comes off a little bit more here, this could be good. And I would really like to see a fast flash down to around here with tick. That'd be quite nice. I would definitely be scalping that. So pardon me for just postponing here on pulling up individual names, because if I can pick up a few points, you know, if I can pick up a few ticks. Hey Jaylee, thanks for coming through, watching the stream. Oh, all is good. Yeah, had a good holiday. Yeah, we got FOMC minutes at 11 a.m. Is that Pacific Standard Time? I always forget. Yeah, Pacific Standard Time. I got to start just using EST. I would stream a lot more probably if I was in the EST environment. But, you know, having a baby threw me off a year ago. Over a year ago. 3 hours, yep. Got a 10-year auction in 2 hours. Fed GDP now. Yeah, we got a lot of little data coming out, don't we? All right, here we go. Let's see if we can create anything here out of this. I might take like an MNQ just around that VWAP if we can get down there. Maybe I might even just start right now for... I'm watching SPY, by the way, but on my other computer, on my screen, I have a... I do have my Trade of 8 kind of logged in here. I'll take one MNQ. I'm not going too heavy here. And then I want to watch NQ here. So we're below the NFP. And we're right there at about 62.30. So I'm keeping a close eye here now on 62.30 to maybe scale it in. Let me see here. Make sure. Yeah, I don't mind that. This will be just kind of a quicker fade. Tesla. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, let me write down Tesla because that's a big one. We'll go through the Mag 7 stocks too as well. Okay. Okay, let me see here. I got about I'm up about $20 on that little MNQ contract. That's from 30 to 50. That's about 20 points. I'm just going to go ahead and close it right now. I think that there's more upside, but it is very difficult for me to do this and focus while communicating with chat. So I'll take the 20 points or so right there as it just dropped down.
Just update regarding
so it was
AI
quick,
Perplexity. Does the launch web browser Comet beginning Wednesday will be available to Perplexity Max subscribers? Energy update concerning Saudi Aramco in talks with US Commonwealth LNG for an LNG offtake agreement, according to 4 sources.
I'll try to redo at 62.30 here because I got maybe about I made about $20 on that just a little scalp here. Okay, these are quick scalps, so for those that don't do that, don't worry about it. I'm keeping a close eye on it because it's been working for me. I don't recommend people really quick scalping unless if you know the setup really aligns for it. But after a pretty strong sell off here, and you're getting kind of this steep trend here, a pop back up into this range makes complete sense to me, right? I would like to see the 62.30. I would like to see a stronger tick reading, but market net flow, it's not really bearish. So to see little pops here and there from these drop-offs makes sense. And we're just kind of floating around that non-farm payroll. Okay, let's hop into some individual names now because I'm not in that anymore. The indicators, futures trader team. Which ones? The blue lines are anchor VWAPs. I'll talk about that. Somebody had asked me where I use those. This little guy right over here is a this line, that line. This line is just an opening range. The dotted lines. Okay. Oh yeah. So the dotted lines here, these ones right here, that is actually half of an opening range. So you can see we have the lower of the opening range, the upper, and then the midline. And then these are just highlighting out, half of the 30-second opening range is all that is. It could help with if you're really trying to get like a RVR, your risk to reward kind of on point. I don't have like a strict strategy around the opening range. I know some traders that do, but it's all, there's a lot of contingencies in what I do because it depends on what's causing the move, what's causing it, how big the move is, the volatility of it, right? So you typically you get bullish above the opening range, more bearish below it. But I'm not going to go long right here. I'm not going to do that, right? Or maybe over here. But I'd still wait for consolidations or pullbacks to the VWAP. This move is, I would imagine a lot of traders are actually having a hard time in today's action because you had the daily VWAP here, you had no pullbacks to it, and then as we were coming kind of down into it, it didn't even actually react off of it. It broke right down through. And anybody that uses VWAPs, especially on the daily basis, probably got a little caught off guard by that because the first test is typically your biggest reaction from it. And this one, it just went straight down, probably off of whatever, I don't know, news. Somebody can call that out. So, okay, let's go into some individual names. What's up, Fishy? How do I get those? So this thing right here is called the opening range. I have TradingView, the premium. I bought it on like Black Friday or whatever. They have a good deal for like a year or something like that. And then I put it on here. It's a 30-second opening range. So, a lot of people will be like 30-second candles or 30-second opening range. This is something that I learned. I learned about by Toby Crabble, opening ranges a long time ago. Have an old book by Toby Crabble. It's expensive as hell right now for whatever reason. That book is expensive, but I don't know. Maybe you can get the ebook or something. But then another trader, Pax, he traded at the pit, and he would talk about why traders use the 30-second opening range, or why it was always produced to them using opening range, but the 30-second marker. And since that point, when I was looking at it, I was like, there's actually some really good responses and reactions around it. So I've always kept it on my screen. Okay. Yeah, we'll look at Tesla. Let's actually start here looking at the Mag 7. So we'll start back up from Nvidia. Nvidia currently right now is trading up at its upper I-vol range. So for those that don't know, the I-vol range is the implied move for the session. This is not an indicator you can download. This is just a proprietary one I made for Thinkorswim, but it is in the Discord. If you're in there, you can use the Asher bot. It's not going to give you the same levels because the IV is different, how it's aggregated, but it gives you an idea for risk for the day. And Tesla is at its risk level Nvidia is at its kind of risk level. Oh my goodness, risk level for the day. Okay. Let me look here. Daily chart, new highs. I mean, this isn't really bearish, people, right? So it's not bearish. I wouldn't be longing up here. I wouldn't be longing here. Maybe if I was looking for a small dip there, but right now this would be more shorter term trading on opportunities via the day, or just waiting for some consolidations in names like Nvidia. Microsoft, same situation. We had a little bit of a consolidation. It's off of its highs quite a bit. For the day, it came into it just above its implied vol range, and now it's kind of pulling back back below that daily volume weighted average price. But overall, a new high today. Also, not necessarily a bearish thing, but definitely where did price come from? There's a very strong move. So yeah, going to see some consolidations here at some point. Apple, definitely keeping on the radar here. Apple had a very nice tight price pattern here, and we broke out this last week. And now we're kind of coming back in. So here, if the market wants to continue higher, or maybe not even the market continue higher, but maybe flatten out and consolidate, you're going to need Apple to show some performance, right? This is the third largest market cap name in the S&P 500. Sorry. Give me a second. Keeping an eye. It's the third largest name in the market cap name in the S&P 500. So if we are going to kind of consolidate, you'd want Apple. You'd want to see some rotation in Apple, which we got last week. All right, we're getting some volatility here. I want to see if we can get a little bit of a more frothy of a tick read. We're not getting, this is kind of just rotations that are taking place here, but the NQ, slipped back here to the non-farm payroll VWAP. And when I start to see this, when I'm paying attention, I'm looking at the range of the candles, right? Like I like these larger ranges to appear. And then I would like to tie that in with an extended tick reading, because I don't mind scalping that. So if we can slip off here, we can see the S&P 500 maybe pull down to 6230. That would be some good confluence for me to kind of execute into. I'll keep an eye on it. Okay, I'm gonna go back to Apple. It is what it is. So Apple here on the daily time frame, this could be one to watch. This has been slipping off very kind of slowly and methodically over here, and we're kind of coming into the lower eyeball range here. Okay, so you could potentially see a back through trade here in the near future. If it comes down here, maybe we can stall out. Maybe it trips lower, kind of picks back up. But the sell side in Apple is the risk to reward right now. The reward is more to the upside than there is now to the downside, because we've slipped off into that lower eyeball range for the day. And then if you match that up with the daily chart, we're getting our first pullback after that pretty big breakout. And this is I like to see, right? You get a very tight price action, boom, it pulls in. So can this go retest that 215? A couple videos ago, we talked about Apple being tight right here and then watching for a breakout. And we talked about this being the potential level of supply to watch out for. So it came in and tested it. But each time it's tested it, I want you to pay attention, right? From this low to here, what is that? That's a higher low, okay? Came back in to test it. What's this? That's a higher low, okay? Came back in to test it. What's this? Kind of a matching low, but it is slightly higher, I believe. Low 193.46, 193.25, so that's a higher low. Came back up, we put in a higher low over here. We kind of tightened up, bam, we came to touch it. So far, what I'm trying to point out here is this 215 level is that level of supply, and we've been building higher lows into it. So price action from a daily basis is tightening up. This was kind of an early entry to retest this. So now if we pull back to here, this would be a back test, a back test of this breakout. And then maybe perhaps we can pull back in to eventually break that. Or, obviously break down, right? You get a couple options here, but it doesn't matter, if it goes against you, or you just want to manage that risk. Right? Just like here, right? If you play the breakout and then it came down and broke down here or broke down here, you'd get stopped out. Whatever, big deal, right? But it didn't. It went up. So cool. Congratulations if you played it. Okay, so Amazon still looks pretty good. Just kind of getting hung up right at around here. And as far as the day goes, we did come into the upper eyeball range already and kind of sunk off from there. Google, yeah, I like Google here too. Google is an underperformer, right? And most of the market participants are getting to new highs. Google hasn't done so, but we are seeing higher lows, and we're kind of getting stuck in and around this 180, and price kind of rejected from it. It came back up, and it's kind of consolidating. On this day, I believe, on the Stock Market Brief video or somewhere, we talked about how I would prefer to see it come up, but then consolidate for a while. And that's what it's doing. So if we can kind of doodle around here a little bit more and watch for a break, this could be also an opportunity to keep a close eye on. Let's go to Meta. Meta's it's a stone's throw away from a new high. Remember, we do have earnings coming up for a lot of these names. AVGO, this was on the tight list. This saw a nice breakout. I'd be looking for consolidations. Berkshire, kind of sloppy. Tesla over here. Tesla's hanging around at its weekly implied move right now. So this little white line is the week to date expected move. Okay, so we had the news or whatever that started us way down. This is very volatile. This is all over the place. You can't make sense of this really. I would prefer things to tighten up.
And
right?
seeing the latest Atlanta Fed GDP Now model, that's 2.6% for Q2. That's unchanged after rounding. So for Q2, Atlanta Fed GDP Now model unchanged at 2.6%.
Okay, so there's the GDP numbers out of the way. We're below a declining 5-day moving average in Tesla. We're back above the non-farm payroll. This kind of looks pretty nice so far. I mean, I would say. So this is NQ. Let me see here. So now we got that out of the way. Let me go over here, see what else we got coming through. 11, 7:30, 8:30. So we got 8:30 auction, 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Okay. All right, so maybe if we can get through this kind of area right in here, you can see a little bit of a, maybe a little bit higher. $950, $960. I don't know if that's really worth it. We're holding that week-to-date VWAP still here on SPY. So we did see a nice bounce from that, right? From this low, came all the way up, and now we're kind of pulling back in. And market net flow is still bullish, and this is actually kind of picking up here. Still no convergence, and the green line's kind of sinking here, which could just mean chop. Up about 16 basis points on the session. Okay. I'll keep continuing to keep an eye there. As far as Tesla goes here on the intraday perspective, wide open range of risk, upper, lower. We haven't even moved, but we are below that daily volume weighted average price. Okay. All right, let's take a look at some of these other names that people had mentioned. Tesla looks like it wants to go down. I mean, potentially. I mean, this is, I can't get a good read with all these gaps and all this volatility. It's pretty tough. Hey, Trevor, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Trevor, this sounds familiar. Are you I think I recognize you on Twitter or on X. But thanks for joining in, taking a look. We'll take a look at TEM. Yeah, we'll pull that up. I'll write that down on my list. UNH. I have a position in UNH still. It's actually like one of my bigger positions. Where is UNH today? Let's actually pull that up. I think it's down. Yeah, UNH is down. It's in its lower implied vol range today. Right now, lower daily vol range. And it's below daily VWAP. It's kind of just holding on to it. I think earnings is also coming up for this name. I have this against some other positions, and it's kind of an idea of just a more longer just hold. I don't know if I want to hold into earnings. I guess we'll see where it goes from there, but it's not like that crazy of a mover from when I got it. It hasn't really gone anywhere. I think I traded a couple of times within here. Now I just have a position that's basically flatlined. Okay, so SPY still holding up, man. Let me see here. 625 could be a level of interest. On the upside, I'm going to go 620. Oh, that's way up there. I'm not going to mark that on my screen. He said tick is pretty low. Let's pull up tick. Yeah, it did get pretty low. Thanks for the call out. Yeah, so tick got to its lowest reading here just a minute ago, down to around 800. Sometimes, so in these cases when we don't get extreme readings because the volatility is not there, you can maybe put on an RSI, see if that helps. But I don't really do that all too often. Every once in a while maybe, but let's see if we can kind of get a little something cooking here. What's up, Sneaky Man in the woods? MRVL, yeah, we'll pull up MRVL too. I'm just keeping an eye on this because we're breaking lows right now on NQ, and I just think that there's an opportunity here somewhere, and I just want to keep a close eye on it because I'm not really day done right now. So, and then we got 6230 on the SPX, so I'm kind of keeping an eye here on that 6230 for when the SPX comes into it, if we can get into it, because it is well, it's not the biggest level now. It was this level. Now we got traders reaching out to 6195, a little bit more heavy. 6195 is way down here. That would be big. That would be huge. We'll pull up some more names here in just a moment. You got UNH calls. Yeah, I don't really trade options all too much, but that can I make a video on it? I think so, John. In the I have a getting started video. Have you watched that? The getting started video. There's just been a lot of new things that have been added to the service that kind of benefit individual people. It's not like everything benefits everybody, right? There's just a lot of different stuff, a lot of different data in there that can benefit just various types of traders, from shorter term to medium term to a little bit longer. Yeah, I'm just not getting any good readings today. It is what it is. Okay, I'm gonna pull up some of these names. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to daily, and we're gonna go down this list really quickly. TTD. Somebody had mentioned that they're short it. I actually was long it. I think around in these areas. Kind of a little cup with handle pattern. I like them more at the highs, but it is what it is. So TTD floating a little bit higher over here. I'll probably peel a little bit off. I don't think I've peeled any off yet, but position's up pretty decently. Qs, they had mentioned Qs. Yeah, Qs, yeah, I mean, we're probably going to get some sort of a consolidation or pullback around here. I mean, we kind of been doing that for the last 5 trading days or so, just been doodling around. TDOC, overall view on TDOC. Interesting volume kind of coming through here, right down. So if you pay attention to the volume over here, had a nice, probably news-driven kind of day. We'd had a couple declining days there on less volume, and then we saw another day with strong volume that moved it higher. And now we have price action kind of pulling back here, right into and around this range. So, and it's pulling back with a bigger volume green day here. So yeah, this might be setting up for something, a bigger move. Now this is in the healthcare space, maybe pharmaceutical, maybe healthcare, which hasn't been doing all too hot, but I don't know. I'm seeing like this biotech stuff kind of break out today, right? XBI is breaking out of this tight contraction. Things like DGX, I mean, they've been holding up pretty well from a year-to-date perspective. It's kind of pulling back actually now. In fact, that's actually kind of getting pretty tight of a pullback right here, right into this kind of lower trend area. A couple other ones was like A-Lab, Astera Labs. This is up today. Also kind of just doodling around here, basing out. Looks pretty solid. So there are some names within this space that are a lot better than what I just showed, but been holding up pretty well. Okay, we had a little bit of an undercut there in NQ, and now it's kind of flying here. It's back. It's above this area. So if you're watching that, something, I don't know. It's a lot of chop. Okay, let me go back over here. We got Run. Oh yeah, Gilead. That was another one that was mentioned. Yeah, Gilead looks pretty darn strong here too. You just see it's kind of coming into this prior area over here. So you have these higher lows. Now you have this consolidation. Yeah, I mean, doesn't look bad. These all look pretty darn good. All right, a lot of sideways chop, but it's holding up. Run. This is a solar. I don't have good reads on stuff like this. Like this is like big run up, gap down, run up, gap down, run up. I don't know what that was. It's I don't know. Maybe I'm guessing some sort of news every day or something. I don't know. This is confusing. Maybe if I look at TAN, maybe it'll give me a cleaner picture. Not really. Well, kind of actually. TAN is a solar ETF, and you're really kind of at these highs of the year. So maybe this could be setting up for something.
An update for Marsh McLennan does increase its quarterly cash dividend by around 10% to 90 cents per share.
We had mentioned some Bitcoin stuff. Coin is holding up very strong, doing really well. Right, we're kind of just flagging right now. So if crypto keeps on holding, I'm sure coin could be one of those strong performers. Probably wants to go for 500 at some point. Go for the big roundy. Okay. MicroStrategy, this one looked good too. This, like, take a look here. Also a name that like looks good, one that I just feel uncomfortable trading, but it is what it is. You have higher low here, some lower highs, price action's getting tight. Could be one to watch here for maybe a tag of this 450, kind of where we ran some prior supply, maybe just under that, right? Let me get out of this here. All right.
Just an update for the calendars via
Do I think UNH is building a solid base?
Irish journalist in Brussels for SCMP News. There's no a meeting of EU ambassadors today that Antonio Costa's team confirmed that the EU-China summit will be a one single day in Beijing. Contrary to rumors, the first part will be with Xi Jinping focused on political issues, then the economy with Li Qiang, followed by a banquet.
I wouldn't really call this like solid by any means. I mean, we had so much crazy volatility to the downside. Now it's kind of just flatlined. It's trying to find its footing. That's one thing. I don't know if I would consider this kind of in the realm of a solid base, but I don't know. It looks extended, right? From this little recent sell-off, you have these lower highs, or sorry, these lower lows, and then you have these higher low readings in the RSI. So yeah, coming back up, to 301, maybe to fill this gap, maybe 306, retest this 5-day moving average that's currently declining at some point in the near future. It kind of makes sense to me. Just be aware that we do have earnings, at the end of the month. I would think that the bad news is basically priced in after all of this. But it doesn't mean that we can't go lower, shake out some more people, and so forth. So, this type of stuff happens, right? Remember CrowdStrike back in the day? Not even back in the day. It wasn't even that long ago, but it was over here where, there's those data breaches and all those problems. And then we had this big massive reversal, came in, shake some people out, nice flag, boom, built another base, flag, boom, right? Choppy. And then it was a monster comeback from a name like this. So I don't know if UNH is going to obviously do the same thing, but it is a very large company, and there has been some insider buying within it after this entire whole sell-off. Big insider buying. So maybe they know something about earnings, or maybe they're just trying to take advantage of the recent volatility. Who knows? Hood looks clean. This is just another monster here. Kind of broke out of this larger cup with a couple of consolidations, and now it's just nice little flag over here taking place. Kind of getting hung up at about that 100 level. Earnings around the corner here too. You have NQ kind of making its way back. So when we got through this, a little bit of a shakeout, but overall, what are we doing today? We're back to the opening range. We're about to test the opening range low. Didn't quite get down to 62.30, unfortunately, but we did get close. It was $1.43 away on a $6,200 product. So it's pretty darn close. That was the level that we were watching, about $1.30 away. So if you managed to take a little bit of a trade early, you got lucky. If you were like me, I just kind of stepped aside. But overall, pretty nice little pop back there to test this opening range. See where it wants to go from now. I made decent today in my prop firm in TradeFi. I'm at $178 total for the day across 5 accounts. So 170 whatever times 5. Okay. Market going to have a pullback this month. We're in a pretty bullish seasonality point. I mean, I like define pullback. Maybe like you think of 5%, maybe more. I don't know. I think that we're kind of in the area for some sort of consolidation, right in around these areas. But I don't know. I saw some people saying that they're thinking about 10% pullback in July. I don't think that's going to happen without some sort of big news headline. It just doesn't make sense to me. Hey, what's up, Shanks a Million? Wolf, by the way. Wolf, not really my type of style of trade. This one's pretty choppy all over the place, but you are seeing some big volume come in, on the squeeze higher. So not really my style. Yeah, not really my style, but hey, you never know. I mean, if this consolidates and gets tighter, maybe this could be something to set up. But right now, it's down 14% on the day, which really is nothing for this not stock. I mean, up 13%, down 14%. So you just have to position size correctly. You have to give yourself a lot of space here in names like this. There's one that I posted in this one's kind of like one of those speculative type names, retail space. Bird, B-I-R-D, all birds. I took a little position here just to see if it wants to keep running, but we kind of broke out of this base here. And then I've been kind of eyeballing it on this consolidation, and then price action got pretty tight here. So now I was like, okay, maybe that makes sense for just a tighter risk to reward. So we'll see if this can potentially break out, or it's such a small position because we're inside of this consolidation. So I was thinking about maybe if it can do something like that, or just pop up to up here and around 13. This one's pretty illiquid though. But there's a lot of volume that's been coming into it, so kind of interesting. Pizza. Yeah, so I have a little position in pizza. Earnings kind of around the corner. It really, we're getting kind of hung up at this 52.50. Like every time we get up here, we get this like nice volume spurt, and then like right over here, this volume spurt. So it's like whatever is holding us back up here gots to go. I'm actually kind of curious. If I just pulled up Bookmap and just went to pizza, is there something like big over there or something? Let's pull it up. The bird is the word. Yeah, we'll pull up Oklo and all those. Oklo, APLS. All right, what's up with this thing? I don't know, nothing crazy. Right about $50. There's like 5,000 shares there. Right below that, it's like about 1,000. So I don't know if that's $50. Maybe it shows up. Maybe these orders show up a little bit after the fact. But this kind of area, so I mean, I like it. It's still consolidating here, so I'm not out of the position. I'll just continue to watch it. Like I said, it's a half pizza. It's a half pizza position. We'll see if Papa John's wants to break. Better pizza, better ingredients, Papa John's. I did check out T-Doc. We talked about T-Doc already. I was talking about kind of the volume that was showing up and then some of the other healthcare names or the biotech space. But it looks pretty solid here. We're kind of got tight, broke out of this base, and now it's holding up. So on the shorter time frame, could very well come to try to target this $10 to kind of 11 areas.
Energy update concerning Nigeria's Dangote refinery.
But these nice volume.
It will construct storage tanks in Namibia to hold at least 1.6 million barrels of gasoline and diesel to supply refined fuel to Southern Africa, according to two sources cited by Reuters on Wednesday.
Will the bird fly?
Do keep in mind that the capacity of the refinery is 650,000 barrels.
Maybe, I'm not too sure. Could be. The run on PCT. Yeah, PCT was a great trade. That thing was a monster. Talk about a crazy trade. I think I had I had position down here, and then I also had one here. Talk about catching just like some luck. Crazy. So I'd be still watching this one too, seeing how consolidations kind of take place. Over here was a good consolidation. Now it's getting the attention of more people, obviously. So, and we're kind of pulling into this prior area. So I'd say now on a longer term basis, if you're really kind of bullish this, I would like to see it come up, maybe even build out even a longer base for where people, to the point where people kind of forget about it. And then all of a sudden we have something really clean here from like a weekly perspective that breaks out and tries to go for 20. That'd be sweet. You just got to kind of withstand some of the base building. Okay, so yeah, Tesla we talked about. We got a TEM. This one I've traded a couple of times. TEM I traded down here, and then I think I traded over here. It's getting pretty tight, so we're probably gonna get some sort of a move here. We do have some higher lows building, so maybe keep an eye on this kind of consolidation here. Maybe if it breaks down, look for a back through, right? Can draw that out. The only reason why I'm drawing my squigs right now is because it gives you kind of a sense of contraction, right? If you want to see price contract, is price consolidating? Is it contracting? And I would say yeah, on the shorter term time frame or kind of the daily time frame, it is, but it's also not like the greatest, cleanest setup ever yet, right? Some might even call this kind of like its own little double top if it were to break, right? So be careful there. But other than that, if we can come back up and it gets a little bit tighter, this would be another one to kind of keep an eye on. NBIS was kind of a similar type thing. We're pulling down now a little bit here after a nice little pop breakout. Somebody had mentioned Oklo. Yeah, Oklo.
Update from
another
Indian
speculative
state-owned
story
banks
name,
are
but
to
look at
raise
this
around
thing.
450 billion rupees through QIP
Also
in current
flagging,
financial year,
consolidating.
according to a source cited by Reuters. The Indian government is to complete the IDBI stake sale by October.
Okay. What's another one? No, Oklo. NNE was another one, right? Yeah, NNE, a little bit more sloppier. IonQ. That was a nice little break out of this flag. Now we're kind of just hanging up into this little area over here. Pull up some other names that are kind of APLS was the one, right? APLS. A pharmaceutical company. Yeah, I mean, it's not a great looking chart, but we are building these higher lows and kind of breaking out of this tight contraction. So, hey, perhaps this is one that comes and retests up in these areas and tries to do some moves. Not horrible, right? SMR, yeah, that was one. SMR, yeah, kind of a similar type setup here. Do I have the net flow chart in real time? So in Discord, yeah, it's the same speed that I can get. It's not like, it doesn't look like this. It looks like this though. So I have just the Trady Ticks Discord suite. So you can type in the command /market or /net flow market, and it brings up this chart, whatever the most recent update is. I think it updates like every 15 seconds or whatever, every minute, or I don't really know. But it does update. And then it'll show you momentum down here, which is basically just telling you the difference between the spread. It's using kind of algo flow, it's called. And Trady Ticks has tutorials on it, all that good stuff if you want to read more into it. And then when I'm here on my Discord, every once in a while, or some other people in there too, we'll post if you want to see convergence.
I'm just going back to that.
Those are just added indicators on here, right?
And
I always just look at the
LNG.
direction of those.
The talks between the
lines.
two offer 2 million tons per annum.
This helps this helps down here to like explain it to people, and then people see this and they're like, oh, that's important. But I mean, let's just say that if SPY was flatline today and going kind of down, but yet this green line was cranking up like this and this red line was going down, I would have absolutely went pretty hard on a position to the upside, right? Regardless of what it said down here, but it would be what is SPY doing relative to this? And at the end of trading sessions, sometimes I've done this too before, where the green line all of a sudden starts picking up a lot and the red lines flatline are going down, but price of SPY isn't going anywhere. And when I see that, I'm like, oh, we might very well get a squeeze at the end of the day. And those days are those days where you hear, if somebody bought XYZ option, it would be worth this much in only 30 minutes. Those are those days. I did that too, by the way, but it was with Robinhood. I bought one.
Just seeing the
I spent $100
US bills for
on
the
a
17-week. They do sell 65
date.
billion. High rate 4.23% bid to cover.
And it went up to like
It's 3.03 times.
these are those auctions. I believe that's what we just heard. I did it in Robinhood, but Robinhood, I didn't log back in, and they closed my position out because I didn't know that they do that 30 minutes prior to the close. So the market ran, and when I saw the market running, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be paid out big time on this. And I logged in, and the position was already closed out for a $100 loss. So I lost everything on the $100 little trade. That was like a year ago or something like that. Pretty funny. And it could have been like $4,000 or $5,000 trade or something like that, if I remember correctly.
Just seeing a post here from US President Trump trade letter, it
Super
seems, on
pumped
the
about that.
Philippines. Seems the tariff level is 20%. Seems a very similar format to the other trade letters we've seen. Says we will charge the Philippines a tariff of only 20%, and all of the
This IPO has been
Philippine
getting some
products sent
attention.
into the
Circle.
US, separate from all sectoral tariffs. Still has the same comment with regards to goods transshipped. They will be also tariffed, subject to the higher tariff that they are attempting to evade.
We're getting some, I guess, more tariff news, but the market, I'm watching NQ. It's not really doing much right now. So we're just at the lower opening range again, once again. So.
And seeing another trade letter from US President Trump on True Social. That's for Brunei, 25%.
Keep an eye. Okay. Yeah, we're just still there, just kind of getting tagged up around that opening range. Circle, Internet Group. This one's been getting quite a bit of attention.
Another trade letter here from US President Trump for Moldova, tariff level. And that's 25% on Moldova. So just getting trade letters here that Trump had said were coming. Did say that 7 were coming so far. Got 3. Seems another one's just come across. And just another one here for Algeria. Tariff level is 30%.
All right, here comes some volatility. All right, let's pull up the tick chart. Let's see if I can make anything of this. All right, that just tag the non-farm payroll VWAP again. Come on now.
And another trade letter here for Iraq. That's 30% tariff level for Iraq.
Nothing. Nothing yet. Give us some readings.
Just getting another trade letter from Trump concerning now Libya, tariff level 30%.
Yeah. Market is just not responding yet. All right, so nothing really there yet. I'll keep an eye. We started to see a pretty nice enough start of volatility here, but that NFP VWAP just been holding. Even yesterday, it was some action around that level too, or the day before, I can't remember, but open the door for me.
And again, just clarifying with regards to these trade letters we've just seen, the contents are pretty similar to identical to the other trade letters we saw earlier in the week with regards to Trump saying if you decide to raise your tariffs, then whatever number you choose to raise and buy will be added on an extra tariff charge of what he's just announced in the trade letter. So far we've got 6 trade letters. Trump did say 7 were coming this morning, and with more to come as well.
Not much movement there. Okay. Now that's out of the way. Let's go retest the opening price. Opening price is this yellow line. Daily VWAP is up here. Market net flow still remains pretty bullish. No convergence here, but still pretty bullish. We got 621 below us, 622 below us. So it kind of opens the door. Maybe we're about to get a little bit more of some action back here. Let's make it through here. Let's go. Let's see something. Let me go back over here. $62.50. just not that clean for me right now. It just ain't that clean for me. Thanks, trader. Forever. Taco. I still don't understand the taco thing yet. I've been seeing that around, but I don't know. I never looked into it. That's why I never talked about it, because I have no idea what it is. I just saw like a bunch of memes about like tacos something. Been out of it. Got to get up to date on these things. I love tacos. All right, price is still holding up. It's crazy to think that after all of this trading since the opening bell, we're just within the very first 30-second candle here. Still. So if you feel, exhausted by today's price action is exhausted as well. Yeah, no. Oh, is that what it stands for? Okay, that makes sense. Oh, is it in regards to the tariff stuff? All right, I get it now. That's funny. Who comes up with this stuff? And how does it go viral like that? Who does that? Like, where did that come from? It's hilarious. I am the inventor of the taco acronym. Upper VWAP is daily. What's lower? This lower daily, this VWAP is actually the non-farm payrolls report from earlier this month. The reason why so somebody had asked earlier the VWAPs, where to use them. I like using them at highs of the day, lows of the day, or highs of the month, lows of the month, highs of the week, lows of the week.
Macron agreed tackling the threat of irregular migration and smaller boat crossings.
Looks like it's holding up here pretty well.
Shared priority that requires shared solutions.
Let's get through this opening thing. This very well might try to come back up here. I don't know if I'm ready to go for it, but I mean, it's holding up pretty well. Okay, so yeah, that's what that is. And then somebody other like I'll do it like on the start of the month, the start of the quarter, the start of the day, right? The start of the week. And then on top of those, then what I like to look for as some VWAPs go is on like macro events, like news events. Not every one of them, but the ones that kind of bring in the more volume, those tier 1 type of reports. So the non-farm payrolls report, right? I didn't apply it today on like whatever we got today. I just don't find that as important. Maybe like CPI, the tier 1 ones. And if you don't know how to find that, there's Forex Factory. I use Trading Economics Calendar just because it's what I got used to. I got to go look at Forex Factory because theirs is pretty good. Like FOMC minutes, maybe I'll do it to that just to see how it responds throughout the day, but probably not going to hold it on there because it's just the minutes. We kind of know or expect. We expect what's going to come from that based off of what they've already said. Right? Yeah. Check. Baba's cratering. Yeah, how is Baba's cratering, huh? So K-Web's down at its lower range. How has this been looking? I'm actually kind of that actually kind of surprised me because we did see copper go crazy, right? And copper actually typically, the correlations always change, but has had a very positive correlation to China. So, yeah, what's Baba doing? Baba, is there some news or something that's driving this? Perhaps. JD, what are some other China names? JD doesn't look all too healthy there either. Yin, was it? No, not Yin. What's that one? What's it called? YMM, was that one? That one looked pretty good. I don't know if that was a China name or not. I can't remember. It is an ADR, but I don't know if it was China or not. Gosh, which is it? QFin. That was looking pretty decent. It's kind of holding up. Yeah, kind of. QFin coiling up here. Huh. Baidu, yeah, Baidu is another one. So PDD, oh yeah, Pinduoduo. Yeah, it doesn't look all too hot here. Just kind of going sideways. Baidu. Yeah, a lot of chop. China names are hard to trade. Luckin Coffee was also on the ties. Let's see. Luckin LLC. Gosh, how do you spell Luckin? Yeah. Yeah, Luckin Coffee. This was on the tight list last week or the week prior or something like that, but it was looking pretty sharp. Bam, nice little breakout. But this is like in the OTC market because they had like accounting fraud. And then it got delisted, went down to like $2 or $3, and now it's up at 40. News about dilution on Baba. Okay, so there is some sort of news. Thanks, Joe. Nvidia's flagging out. Yeah, definitely. Kind of right on its VWAP, you're right. It's at its implied range for the day, so it actually, earlier in the trading session, it came up to its implied move. Now it's kind of just flatlined here. If the market wants to go higher, that would be very beneficial to see Nvidia come back up to that 164. It's kind of cooled its jets here since the early morning trade. NQ is getting stuck right here at its opening price, still within its opening range. A couple of tests of it already. If we can break through that, maybe it's a pretty quick shot up, most likely to 23,000. If we can break through that, then maybe we can go retest daily VWAP. What I find interesting here is we didn't test daily VWAP here on this big run up. It just broke straight down. So we're going to come back and test it at some point. It's an interesting day. You typically get more tests and more opportunities around that action point, but just not today. Not today so far, at least. Think we base out and chill. Kind of what we've been doing. Getting some little action here and there, though. A little bit of action. Needs something to spark some volatility here. It's been quiet. Hey, what's up, John? You're looking at ELF and ANF. Yeah, let's take a look. Let's take a look at some of these. ELF. I mean, pretty nice earnings reaction. And since that point, it's kind of just going sideways here a little bit, a little bit higher. It's kind of running into this little supply level. I'm just going to activate this up here, right? So you can see where it's kind of had that action. So, perhaps this little pullback's opportunities to come retest this area if it's going to go higher. It might be a while before we break this, or if you want to be more patient, see if it kind of tightens up and goes through it, or even if it wants to come down more, maybe it sets up something, a lower, earlier entry down here where you kind of get a little bit better risk to reward. I would not do full-size positions on a move straight down like this, but, if I was really bullish and I was thinking about building it in, thinking that it was going to do something like this or even like this to come back up on a move like this, I don't mind doing like a pilot position, like starting, 1%, 2%, like that's my pilot position. It's pretty tiny. And then seeing how it works out and if I can add to it and so forth. Hey, Vinny, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I'm doing pretty good. It's been hard for me to go on live streams, just being kind of pulled left and right. But I really do enjoy going live. Yeah, I really do. ANF, Abercrombie and Fitch. I haven't seen that one for a while. I mean, we're seeing some higher lows here. It's not responding like the rest of the market is. So tech is kind of running things here, as you can see. They've been doing the new highs for the most part, and these retail names have kind of been just butchered down and holding lows. So yeah, if you're really bullish these markets, you want to see rotations back into this stuff. right? This ANF was such a crazy name. Look at this thing. It went from down here all the way up to here. That's just, I don't even know what that is. That's crazy. But we are still below these declining 40-week, 30-week moving averages. So there's going to be shorter term opportunities, but the larger trend here is kind of getting hit here a little bit. I'm going to go pull back up the tick chart because we are getting a little bit larger candles here from a shorter time frame. But nothing again here on the tick chart, but we are kind of coming back down here. So this opening price is still holding as that level of supply. Evitt, we'll do it live. We're going live. I did do coin already. I didn't do Oracle. That one's yeah, I was watching it down here and then over here. This thing has been a monster. I'm not going to be doing any new positions in these kind of things unless if we see nice consolidations for periods of times or some building some larger bases. It's just, I just can't do it. I can't be confident up here, right? I know other people that will definitely do that because it's showing the strength and they'll hold it, but they're typically longer term investors. They'll go to like the monthly charts or whatever. Then they'll hold it for a long time. They don't care about pulling back to 200 or 160. You know, they don't give a hoot. I prefer price action to get very tight and for it to expand in my direction so I could risk very little and then get out somewhat quick. So understanding the difference between, you know, types of trades and types of people, or, you know, preference is also very important in this. Netflix, also just a monster piece. This one's actually kind of consolidating a bit down here, which is nice to see. So yeah, maybe how, you know, if this can flag out a little bit more or just pop back up to here and retest this level. You've been seeing it happen over and over again, these higher lows. That's cool, JP. Yeah. So let's make it happen. That'd be a big move. Rivian. Yeah, I traded Rivian. I got stopped out of Rivian. I think it's still actually actionable. I mean, not like crazy amazing, but I'm still watching this trend. We'll update it here. Right. I was watching it over here, I think, and then it like broke out and then it got me out. But it's technically still within this larger pattern here. It's getting very tight. Fortunately, it's getting tight into earnings, but yeah, Rivian's, I mean, I don't mind re-entering into it. Today we have an inside trading day, so if we break today's high, stop could be down here. And heck, man, if we pop up just to this prior little swing low, that's, you know, risking one to potentially get two, maybe even more. All right. BLD. Oh yeah, top build. Looks pretty darn strong. Okay, I love these type of charts, but I would have liked it earlier. So I'll walk you through this because PHM is doing something similar to this. What is this actually? What is this? BLD, consumer discretionary. Is it a building company? Like a housing installation subsidiaries engages in distribution of building materials and consumer construction. Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. This works for me. That's actually good to see. So, first we're kind of basing out, right? We're going sideways for a while. Then we started to consolidate here, but notice the volume kind of upticks here. And then all of a sudden the consolidations, the volume on the sell side was really low. Then we broke out, bam, on another good volume, right? Then we consolidated again, boom, broke out, bam, nice volume. So this is one that I'd say watch for consolidations because they've been playing out very well. Now, the reason why I say that is because PHM, which I do have a position in now from the morning, PHM was building higher lows, and this housing index, right, the HGX, has been getting zero love. So either there's going to be an opportunity there where we're going to see a little bit of relief, or it's telling us a bigger problem going on that we just haven't yet fully realized. But what I like here is we have the higher lows. We're kind of running into this area. Okay. And then all of a sudden, I'm starting to notice, oh, we get a little bit bigger of a spike of volume here, a little bit bigger of a spike of volume, a little bit spiker here, a little bit spiker here. So the green days or the up days, we're starting to see a little bit more accumulation in volume. And then we kind of broke out here. And then just this day or two ago, we pulled back to this. And today I was like, all right, I'll take a little position here to see maybe if we want to go up. Now we do have earnings around the corner, so keep that in mind. to see if we can kind of push through this area and maybe go higher. Because there's some interesting kind of volume here in the higher lows. So I like that look, you know. Yeah, so PHM, I think housing index, HGX kind of looks the same, you know, same situation, right? Right, yeah, kind of. DR, is it DRI? Is
Just making you
DRI,
aware,
DR
US
Horton?
President Trump
What is this?
to be hosting African leaders
What's DR
very
Horton?
shortly.
DR,
So are looking out for remarks from US President
DR
Trump
Horton?
in the immediate future.
What's another builder? DR, oh yeah. DHI, no. DHI, no, DHI. Yeah, so DHI, pretty, I mean, this looks like the same. What are builders? ITB, is that an ETF? ITB? Yeah, here we go. ITB, you can probably look in the holdings of this. Same chart. They're all the same. But you see the volume here? Analyze it, ITB. Can we go into the holdings here? We'll probably have to Google that. Home construction. What's another one? I think it was Build? No. Oh, builders. Dang it. What was that? Oh, gosh, it's a big name. What is it? I think it's an ETF. Oh, you guys are typing in some. Thanks. HD. Oh, yeah, HD. That was also, hasn't gone anywhere. Kind of looks similar. Lennar, thank you. Not as clean, but, you know, pretty similar look. Like, none of these got any love. BLDR. Thank you, Rosebud. That's what I was looking for. BLDR. There we go. Ah, yeah, see, this one's clean, right? You get the big volume move, consolidates, boom, big volume move. And then you get this nice little flag here, and now it's moving up higher. What do we got going on over here? What are the builders doing? Is Nail one? Nail, that's a great. Oh, this is a 3X fund. Oh, okay. You crazy. No, I trade 3Xs sometimes, especially to get my capital, if I want to keep capital freed up.
And more from the US Speaker.
Johnson
just reiterated he is in favor of Congress putting new sanctions on Russia.
Toll Brothers, thank you guys. Yeah, this one also it's holding up pretty strongly. So they're not the greatest looking charts, and they have shown poor performance, just so we know, just so I'm making that clear. But, right, hopefully, you know, that makes sense why I'm pointing them out, is because all of a sudden we get a little bit of volume in here, and maybe there's something bigger that's taking place. Maybe, right? Maybe not. But the consolidations and the breakouts right around this area, I like the tightness. And if it goes in my direction, I could be right quick. And if it goes against me, I could be wrong fast. So I'm not. 3X, yeah. So just so everyone knows, on these 3X type of funds, I'll use 2QQQ for an example. I don't mind trading these, but the way that I do it, so for example, if I take my large position of a 6% position in like a name or whatever, that's like my kind of full size, and I like it can maybe go up to 10% or whatever. I'm not using this, and say if it was $1,000, right? Just say $1,000. Let's make it easier. Let's just make $100. That equals 6% of a position. Okay, let's just make it simple math. Okay, if I take a 3X type of trade, I don't need to use that same $100 because that's going to be 3 times the volatility. I would just cut this in half, or sorry, not in half, divided by 3, right? So 33.3333, right? So I don't need to put $100. I can put $33. So basically that lets me, I'm doing rough math, but that'll give me, you know, $70 extra to use somewhere else. And it'll be that same volatility. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of how I approach it. Sometimes they'll grow up a little bit more in size, but that's the bulk of how I use that if I want to have more cash on hand ready to go. Yeah. How about a REIT, CCI? First off, I like Well. So if you're looking at a REITs, I really like Well. I'll pull up this one in a second. But Well, higher lows, this I would consider actually a good base, right? This is building a pretty solid base. So, Well, this is a REIT. Looks good, and it's tightening up. Cool. Awesome. The one that you had mentioned, CCI, is that Crown Castle? Yeah, it is Crown Castle. Also, actually, that's actually looking pretty good. Yeah, no, good call out. Dan, good one. Looks pretty good. And it's getting very tight here, so we'll probably get a move here. Dude, that looks pretty good. I might even have to. Yeah, I might have to do something with that one. I'm gonna write a note here. That's you win the day for calling out a good chart here so far. Clean. Another one, Cube. That was on the radar. This one doesn't look like great also, the chart, but we are kind of bumping our head here at that 44, and that's kind of that's a year-to-date high. So if we can get through that, I mean, we can see maybe it pop up to like 46 pretty quickly. So that's another one. We do have earnings right around the corner. PSTG is kind of the same thing, right? Or something similar, I guess. Pure Storage. It's not a REIT. This one actually broke out of this little area today. I don't know. Can you please share your pre-market routine? What to look for? Yeah, we can look at that. AMD. Yeah, you know, if you're bullish AMD, this is what you want to see. You want to see these consolidations. It's going sideways. And volume's drying up here too. So you get a nice run up on some good volume, right? Some nice volume. And now these recent kind of consolidations that we're seeing are on declining volume. So yeah, I mean, that's a good look, right? So this is what opens up the opportunities for good risk to reward trade, you know, to play it up to 150 or maybe even higher, right? I don't know, you know, whatever your style is. SMCI was also kind of doing that. Look at this. Look how tight SMCI is. This one had all kinds of weird things go on with it, but let's ignore all the things there for a moment, and you might be able to create some good trade ideas where it pops up to 55. It doesn't mean you have to hold it long term or whatever. And even if it's, you know, you can still see squeezes, right? You can still see pop-ups and stuff like that, right? So a lot of narratives could keep people away from opportunities, but what I see here is a price action that's tightening up. So if it breaks out, cool. If it breaks down, I know when to get out, right? I'm getting my
update for Microsoft.
This one's still going
The
sideways.
PHI
DG was another name that I've been looking at. Kind of just still
update
consolidating here too as well.
Microsoft on its blog.
MMM. Oh, MMM. Yeah, I haven't watched that one for a while, but that was setting it up, wasn't it? Yeah, this looks great. What is this? Like considered an industrial name? Yeah, great call out. This is another good one. You guys are calling out some great ones. Holy moly. CCI, MMM. These are all really good names. Yeah, solid. You get the higher lows. Maybe this would be more considered an early entry down here.
Arabia,
and now we're kind of going sideways here around this prior
Hamas
supply
says
drop.
the ongoing negotiations are witnessing great challenges.
Weekly chart, you have an inclining 30-week, 40-week, 10-week. MACD crossed over, right? If you look at that kind of stuff, whatever. If you don't, looks good there. Let me look at the daily time frame. Or sorry, the intraday time frame. Yeah, just kind of going sideways here. Clean. I'm writing these down. I'll probably post these in trade ideas. These are good names to have or to watch. Sorry, let me log back into my trading stuff here. Somebody had asked me about my kind of morning routine. Okay, give me a second here. I gotta keep an eye here on this. I mean, I don't know why. We're not going anywhere yet. I haven't done anything since I started talking, but. Team. Oh yeah, Team. That was one. That's been on the radar a couple of times. Yeah, I think I was watching it over here clearly. But it broke down. I'd like to see some consolidations in this type of stuff. I'm gonna actually pull up my tight list and see if I can pull anything from it now. Let me do that. Let me see. If you haven't done so already, make sure to like the stream if you're on YouTube or Twitch. It might help to get out to a bigger audience. That's always appreciated. Let me see here. Let me log into my stuff. Utilities is holding up today. Utilities is the top performer. Huh, interesting.
Update for Porsche does announce its absorbed impact of US import tariffs by guaranteeing pricing for customers as of April 2nd. Porsche expected to result in burden of 300 million euros for April and May.
I don't know what's going on over here in utility land, but
Back to the tech space, OpenAI is readying an open weight model that will debut as soon as next week, according to The Verge.
I wouldn't ignore utilities here because it's getting very, very coiled up. Let me look at bonds. Yeah, TLT kind of sold off here. And now we're seeing a little bit of a bounce. I mean, that makes sense. The 10-year was getting a little frothy on its bump up. So to see that move makes some sense here. AEE. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking through this. AEE is another, I think, a utility name here that was also on the radar. This one's getting very coiled up. Earnings around the corner. It's kind of barely hanging on here. These lower highs, it doesn't look like, if it breaks, it could be nasty, but if this thing breaks to the upside, it could be quite nice. I wonder if I have to get some exposure to utilities here in the near future. XLP, what's that doing? Consumer staples is getting a little bit tagged today. It's actually a pretty big hit. That's a large range candle for consumer staples. CEG. Yeah, and doesn't this one kind of have a little bit of the kind of AI sort of appeal to it? I can't remember if it was this one or not, so ignore me if I'm wrong, but I thought this one kind of had that kind of energy produces, sells energy products, natural gas, electricity. I feel like this one had some, nuclear, consisting of nuclear. So maybe it had maybe some of that kind of buzz around the nuclear space maybe. Yeah, this one looks good too, CEG. Look at this, boom. You know, getting pretty tight here. What's another one? What's another new utility name? I guess we can look it up, right? XLU. We'll go to Analyze tab. Yeah, NEE. So CEG is the third holding there. Duke. VST. Wasn't that a big one too? For VST is actually breaking a new highs today for the year. NEE. Kind of sloppy, but yeah. I had PCG. I took a trade in PCG down here and then traded it up a little bit, trading into that volatility. This one looks still like crap. We actually almost threatening another low here. This thing got absolutely smashed. Duke. Not as clean of a chart. AQN. Oh yeah, AQN. Oh, look at that. Yeah, this one's getting very tight. Some pretty big spikes in volume here. Interesting. Like you get these large range candles, which kind of freaks me out sometimes, but I can see why this would be on the tight list. It's getting very tight. GEV. Oh man, new highs today. So I don't love entering in up, these areas. I prefer the consolidations, but I mean, that's definitely should be on the radar. That thing is an industrial name. Been rocking and rolling. Did I go over AVGO and Netflix? I did. Yeah, AVGO, just strong break from this consolidation and a new high today. So it's bullish, but maybe we'll need some consolidation here in the near future. Like I'm not going to start new positions up at these ranges. I'd be looking for like how we looked right here during that whatever week this was for the tight list. Then Netflix was actually pulling down and kind of consolidating here, which is nice to see some consolidations take place. But both are, one's breaking to a new high or year-to-date high, at least a minimum. And then Netflix is just kind of pulling back, which we've kind of seen here multiple times. Yeah, Amazon was looking pretty good. Yeah, I was looking at it over here. I was hoping to see more consolidation in this little kind of broadening wedge, but yeah, it's right here consolidating. Maybe we do kind of move in a little bit, tighten up. None of these names look really all that bad. Like I said, I would like to see Apple, because this to me is an opportunity in a name that hasn't showed any strength. But if the market wants to, if the market wants to consolidate, think the S&P 500 market cap terms, right? The largest names in the market cap. If they've been on, they're on new highs for the most part, a lot of them. So if those are going to take a break and the market's going to stay where it's at, will Apple be rotated into to hold the market together if that was to be the case? And I think that's really what we saw last week. And now it's pulling back in a little bit as these names, once again, are pulling back up. So NVIDIA, boom, cracking into new highs. Microsoft, boom, cracking into new highs, right? Amazon, kind of going flat here. Google, also sideways. Could we see a rotation to it? Meta, boom, massive move on Meta with like almost little to no consolidations. So the thought is really simple here. When these names consolidate, will we get a rotate back into something like this? And I think we saw a preview of that this last week. So I'm kind of liking Apple as kind of that potential play, you know, to do something. Maybe. Or just wait it out and wait for these other names to consolidate and see what happens. But Kava, is Kodak Pharmaceuticals a joke? Kodak Pharmaceuticals. I don't know. What's the ticker? Kava. Just getting some attention here, but it's a little kind of flatline for me, so I don't really see the trade setup yet. This one was a darling just like a little while ago. Like we were looking at it over here and over here, nice breakouts, and even prior to that too. Now it's kind of just taking a little bit of a back seat here. Grab is looking interesting. Yeah, Grab. Yeah, I love Grab. Yeah, Grab looks great. It does. Now, earnings is around the corner, but this one does look really good. So this one is on the radar for sure. Thanks for reminding me about that one. I'm going to write that one down again. But yes, Grab looks good. It's nice tight contraction over here, right at this trend line. Look at on a weekly basis here, how it's building this kind of maybe potentially stage 2 first base. By stage 2, markets move between 4 stages, right? Stage 4 is decline, stage 1 is accumulation, stage 2 is the markup, and then you go through a distribution phase where it's like crazy before another decline. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, back to 1. Now, through these cycles, right, you have also smaller cycles. Boom, 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 boom. So the larger ones, boom, 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 boom. And then you have even smaller cycles on that because markets are fractal. And then on that one, you have even tinier cycles into that. That's why everyone says, you're bullish that? Why would you be bullish that? I'm bearish that. It's like time frame matters, right? But on the weekly basis, we have a 40-week that's inclining, the 10-week that's inclining, the 30-week is actually flat, the 40-week is up, which is roughly the 200-day moving average. The MACD, come on. MACD is kind of flatline, but trying to cross back over. But yeah, this looks, I mean, to me, this looks pretty darn good. So if you're looking at this from a weekly basis, you know, you got to give it some space. 11, 12% to the downside. You got to be okay with losing 11 to 10% minimum from a weekly basis if you want to see this thing kind of play out. And I mean, I wouldn't let it drop 33% on me, but there's probably people that would. 12, 13%. And then I look at the daily time frame. If you want to get tighter, you can maybe have a stop down here or a stop down here, right? Oh, that's it. That's the 12%. Down here is like 33%. Okay. It's crazy. These things move quick. So they don't require a lot of capital because they're these little smaller names. This, if I remember correctly, this is like a kind of like a Asia Pacific name, if I remember correctly. Like a kind of ride share-ish type of name, right? I guess I can just look it up. Oh no, it's not showing me this stuff. That's what I remember. Thoughts on TDOC? I don't really know from a fundamental perspective on TDOC. I wouldn't be the guy to ask, really, unfortunately. Yeah, no, sorry about that. I'd have to pull up some other software that I don't have right now with me that gives me kind of a better reading on just the rate of change of earnings, so sales, margins, earnings, and so forth. And if there's a positive rate of change, that could be a good sign. moving higher and higher, right? Or whatever the case may be. Grab is like an Uber Eats of Asia. Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I remember. Okay, QBTS, that is quantum name, right? Yeah, quantum name. Consolidating, that's all it's doing. Going sideways. It's going to be, I don't really see a trade setup yet. But this is kind of what I'd be looking at, this consolidation here. It's kind of it's actually really respecting this right here. So maybe watch this larger consolidation take place. And then if we can get tighter consolidations within this, kind of like how we saw this kind of pullback here, although that was kind of just touch point too. Or right here, right? Boom, bop, boom, 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 bop. BKSY. BKSY. Run is running away. Kind of is. This thing is nuts looking. BKSY, what is that? BKSY, blue sky, black sky. Jeez. This thing went parabolic too. A lot of volume coming in. I have no idea what this is, but yeah, I'd be looking, watch consolidations, how they occur. When you get these large volume moves and then you get these large range candles, it could indicate the end of a move, not like in its entirety, but like an end of a move, meaning that it's time to consolidate. You know, ZS was another one that, was it ZS? Yeah, this one's getting pretty tight up here. This thing's already made a big run though. But it's building a base or trying to consolidate here a little bit. Okay. All right, I'm gonna pull up my, so every week I'd give out a tight list. So, okay, so somebody asked me about my morning routine. I mean, it's not, yeah, I got a morning routine, but remember, there's a lot of contingencies in what I do. So I'll give you an idea of what that looks like. First, my alarm goes off. I rub my eyes. I wake up slowly. I get out of bed, adjust my back, think to myself, I should probably just go back to bed. I'm kind of tired. Coffee does sound good though. I stand up, my knees crack, my back hurts. I look at my wife and say, she's sleeping. I'll let her sleep. I take a couple of steps forward and then I trip over some sort of toy my kid left around. Then my wife wakes up and says, "Are you serious? Go back to sleep. Or be quiet." No, I'm just playing with you. I'll explain the morning routine here in a second. Sheesh. Okay. I totally lost my train of thought. I need some water. Let me get some water here. We're gonna pull up, let me reconnect this here, see what we're doing. We're back at that opening range. Come on, let's go test the daily VWAP. Just get it out of the way. NQ. Market net flow. We are actually seeing some positive convergence, but it's just not going anywhere, which means that we're gonna start losing convergence. So we'll see if it can pick up. Sounds like Edward Norton. I've been told that a couple of times. Sounds like a 65-year-old man. Yeah. Okay, let me go grab some water and then I'll come back to this. I'll leave this up. Boop. Are we about to? As soon as I'm about to pick up, I'm about to go. I'm seeing some volatility come in. Give me a screw it. I'm just gonna wait a second here. Give me a moment. Geez, look at it just pinging off of the opening range here. Ping, 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 ping. Tick is getting in stream. That's what I wanted to pull up. Thank you. I'm like My mind is all over the place right now because I need some water. Yeah, tick is getting a more frothy reading than we've seen. So it's coming to and around kind of one of the lower readings that we've seen for the day. So we're probably not going to get extreme, you know, just because. Just bring me down into like 900s. How about that? Minus 900. Maybe I can start something off there. I asked for 900 and it's going to bring me down to like minus 1300. Okay. All right, I'm going to grab some water really quick and then we'll come back to this discussion. I totally lost track of thought of what I was trying to say because I was just being funny. Okay, I'm going to leave market net flow right up here. Nope, I'm going to leave it right here. No, I'm going to leave it right. Yeah, I'm going to go like this. All right, I'll be right back. Give me a second. Okay. I'm back. Oh, I need a water. Okay. Where are we at? Okay, morning routine. So first, I think the bigger part is the week. So you got to kind of start a little bit higher. So every week I run multiple scans, sometimes throughout the days too, throughout the week. But the end of the week, I'll look through, thousands of charts, a lot of charts. And I update my watch list, names that I'm just maybe not interested in, or maybe that broke down. I take them off my watch list. Okay, and then I go through that watch list in its entirety and I look for names that are contracting, tightening up. Those names then go into what's called my tight list, which are more actionable. And it's basically all looking from a long perspective. I'm not really trying to short anything for the most part. So that's for more of my swing trading. Then I'll set some alerts on some of the names that are interesting. I'll put some of them in the trade ideas and I'll keep an eye on them. Anything that makes sense from a risk to reward standpoint. And then I just do that. And then sometimes too, like for example, what I just pointed out here, I'll notice like a sector like utilities is contracting. So in my head, when I see that, my first thought is people probably forgot about utilities. But now when things get so tightened up, you're typically going to see an expansion of volatility. So I'm trying to talk about it before it happens, right? I don't want like GameStop. When did it become popular, right? When the big money was made. Right? With AMC, right? So even if you go back to my TikTok way long ago, you'll see that I talked about AMC from like $2 because there was all of a sudden it was getting tighter, and then there was a lot of volume that was coming in before this explosive move. So one of the basic principles of technical analysis is things move between contraction and expansion. So I look for those things that are contracting And that leads me to believe that we're going to see some sort of expansion. And I want to kind of get to that party before it happens, right? Before it starts, to kind of be aware of it. So that's what I do from the weekly basis. From a daily perspective, I wake up in the morning, I get out of bed. Now I'll look at I look at gamma levels. So I'll pull up gamma labs is kind of what I use here, and I'll look at this is a day trading perspective. Okay, day trading intraday, and I'll look at where the 1 DTE levels are. I'll map them up on my chart and say, hey, this is what the market's kind of pricing in right now. This is what they're looking at: 61.95 to 62.75. Those are a couple of action levels. Okay, I'll look at what the market did in the pre-market. Right, I really only trade the MNQ for an intraday perspective, and then on occasion maybe I'll look at individual day trades or whatever. So I put my gamma levels on. I'll make sure my market up flow is loaded up, ready to go. I'll have my SPY 15-minute chart up, and I'll look at my daily implied moves. Where are those at? My weekly implied moves, where is price relative to that? Just to give me an idea of what the market's pricing in for risk. Now, if I'm trading any individual names, right, maybe not from an intraday perspective, but from a daily perspective, or they're in my portfolio, I'll also be able to use the AsherBot and or my eyeball range to get an idea of where those names may be from an intraday perspective, right? So if I'm trading, like, for example, I saw NVIDIA today take off, right? Well, a lot of people were like, oh, dude, NVIDIA's flagging right here. There's no way that I'm going to be buying NVIDIA on a flag when it's at its upper eyeball range, because this is what the market price in for risk. It doesn't mean it can't go higher, but because it already ran to that level, I'm not interested. So if it does stuff like this, maybe, how it's consolidating here right at around VWAP, maybe that opens up the opportunity to pop back up. But I just kind of keep it as is there. And then if I have swing trades on, which I do, I'll look at, let's look at PZZA, right? PZZA, I have that on. Has it hit an upper range or a lower range? No. But there's times where, hey, if it hits the upper daily range, I might take a little bit off, depending on where I stand within the position. Or if it comes down to the lower one and it's still within a good kind of structure, maybe I can still continue to build into that specific position. So I'll keep an eye on these eyeball ranges within these various names, where the SPY is relative to a lot of this. I usually keep an eye on SPX and SPY. Let me get out of this. Give me a second here. There we go. And then other than that, yeah, I look at the gamma levels. Make sure my charts are ready, and then I just go, right? I'm not like aimlessly searching around for names. I'll have some watch lists up and so forth, like my tight list and things like that. And I could kind of guide through those, but the market is the ultimate. It really does help me determine, the market conditions help me really determine if I'm going to be much more active, if I'm not. So when the SPY, right, and the Qs are up where they're at right now, right, after a big run like this, I'm not looking to add much exposure into the markets. I'm looking to trim, and then if the stock really does set up really nicely, I'll add in, I'll start a position and so forth, and I'll look for consolidations just like we're getting now and so forth. I know I'm missing some aspects to that, but if you have more questions and you need more specifics, just let me know. Help guide that conversation. Yeah, I typically have hard stop losses on the swing trades. Sometimes I might forget, but the times that I don't, I'm like, it's probably a pilot position, like a 1% to 2% position. They're small, right? That's like a pilot. That's like, if I see something that's interesting, right? For example, like somebody had mentioned CCI today. Like I don't mind starting a pilot position right now on this and just not even having a stop. Because if it was a pilot position and just all of a sudden went down to 95, I'm like, all right, whatever. It was just a pilot position. I'm just getting out of it, and I'll wait again, right? But if I just have a 1% position or 2% position and it starts breaking up, I'll see it on my screen, and I'll be like, okay, I can probably add into it now, or wait to, if it sets back up or sets up again. Now, if it's a full position, like right out of the gates, like a 6%, yeah, I gotta have a stop, right? I'll give it a stop. Now on day trading, the way that I've been day trading, I haven't used stops. When I day traded equities, I'd have stops, but when I'm doing these futures and I'm just using the DOM, I just been quick to hit exits. So that might change, but the positions are they're so fast. Like putting a stop on, it just, like, I'd rather just look at the P&L of it, and if it gets too out of hand or the position doesn't work against me, I'll cut the position itself. I'm not gonna, that is what it is. Like, I have that room to slowly build. And that's the thing. If I start to build a position, I prefer it to go against me. Because if I layer in, right, 1MNQ, like, I'm not going to make anything off a 1MNQ contract. I'd have to do that over the course of a lot of time. But if I'm trying to make better on the day, I'm hoping that MNQ can be layered in. And then the one that I'm talking about specifically is the fading ticks. I can layer into it and then get out on the bounce. And if I had a stop loss, I would hit out, right? I would hit out again. So if you were to use a stop while day trading, and you're using this tick approach, the only way really to kind of go about that, in my opinion, would be to have an idea. So for example, it'd be like this. All right. First off, you wouldn't even need you wouldn't use a 30-second chart like I do. You'd probably use like the 5-minute, 2-minute, 1-minute, whatever. And if we get like an extreme tick reading, right, say down minus 1,000, you'd go long like ES or MNQ or whatever, or MES or whatever you want. And you would basically, because it's on you're fading it, you would give yourself a risk of like 2 to a reward to 1, and you would expand it out, right? You would expand that kind of range out. And then it could be, you'd be in the trade for 10, 20, 30 minutes potentially, because of that, giving it more that room to breathe. That's not what I do. I'm a lot quicker. I'm moving a lot faster. And if I were to do it that way, I would use a stop loss, because then I could walk away from my computer and just let the trade play out. And the reason why I say a reward of 1 to a risk of 2 is because this is actually a higher
update for
win
Microsoft
rate strategy.
New York Times,
because you're
Microsoft
fading
$4 billion
an extreme
towards
move.
AI education.
Now, sometimes you might not get stopped out, but it'll be down here and it'll be doodle around and come back. And if, 20 minutes go by, or 30 minutes or 40 minutes go by, and it's nowhere to be found and it's just doodling around, just hit out of the position, get out of it. Just, it didn't work. So go, right? So that's kind of one approach to this strategy. But if the ticks aren't working, right, I have to, okay, so for example, right now, when I'm looking at the chart and I'm kind of interested in trading, right? The market's been pulling in. It's actually getting very tight right here. It does look like it has a possibility to pop back up. That's for sure. So I'd look at market net flow, and hey, market net flow has been bullish all day, right? Bullish. We have gray right here. Maybe it goes back to convergence. Price action's getting tight. I would be still focused more on the bullish perspective here, right? So we're not getting extreme tick readings. So now I have to focus on flow and kind of where we stand with here. So I'll pull up NQ. I'll see where we're at. Oh, we're kind of just stuck here. We're below daily VWAP still. Okay, it is what it is. Oh, we're holding non-farm payrolls. Yeah, I think that if we break this level, maybe the trade opportunity is speculative entry whenever, let's say now, right? And I'll try to play it up to this 23,000 plus range, back to test daily VWAP. Given the context of market net flow, the ticks aren't getting extreme, the volatility is not there. That right there would be what, 85, like 20 handles. Something around there. Now, I just said right then and there, right now, but I would also prefer like cleaner setups, right? But I'm just trying to kind of reiterate what it is that I'm looking at. So we're coming back in to test the opening price right now of NQ, which we've been rejected from here, and we've been rejected from here. Now we're coming up for a third time. If we can break through this, I feel like it opens the date right to 23,000. 10 points. Yeah. Is this VWAP going on? What's going on here? Let me fix this. I'm looking at the wrong VWAP on my other screen. Yeah, that's why. 20. Wait a second. Oh, yeah. I was looking at yesterday's VWAP, which is basically right in this area too, which also can act as a potential level of resistance. So we're working through some overhead resistance. Yeah, we got earnings kicking off here for the financials. S&P 100 days to earning. I can go like this. Boop, boop. There we go. We got BlackRock coming in. Going to be reporting earnings in 4 days or 4 trading sessions. BK, Wells Fargo. We got Citigroup, got JPM, Goldman, Morgan, Bank of America in 5 days, J&J, Johnson & Johnson. Then we got GE, Abbott Labs, Pepsi. Pepsi has been getting hammered, but hey, we actually just saw a nice little pop of volatility there to the upside. Now it's kind of pulling back in. We have earnings, like I said, pretty soon here. We're finally going to get some love, dude, and some Pepsi. We're going to get some Pepsi love. Yeah, 1% of my portfolio future trader. That'd be like a starter position, right? I'll build it up to like 6%. That would be a full size, 6 to 10% typically around there. It depends on the beta of the product, right? So if I go to something like, what's a high beta name? Help me out here. LTBR. Like I have a position in LTBR. All right, so here's LTBR. Like, I mean, if I just go to the top of this channel, that's like 18%. So I'm not going to make a full-size position in this ever because the volatility, it's too high to do that. Like, I don't want to like, you know, it doesn't, I don't need it. I like, right. I don't need that big of a position because the volatility is there. So I volatility adjusted a bit. So in here, I might only do not even a half position maybe, but maybe just like, maybe a half position, but more likely a quarter, more likely a quarter size position. And you, new holdings. I mean, this chart looks pretty good. You got in at $4. Yeah, that's great. And it looks pretty good right now. I don't know anything about it, but it's consolidating right here at this level of supply. Some good volume that came in. I mean, it looks pretty good. I'm going to write that down too. That actually might be on the tight list. That one sounds pretty familiar. Any platform for trading? I mean, I like using Thinkorswim, right? But I don't execute on Thinkorswim. I execute on Fidelity and I execute on Interactive Brokers. Those are the two that I use. And Q backing off. Yeah, we're still backing off from the opening price here. Just can't make it up. Can't get through it. But that just tells me that when we do, could be a good little pop there. So we'll see if it can finally get through it. Market net flow, we did lose that convergence. It's kind of just doodling around 622. We got to get through 622. All right, so this would be the level to watch on SPY that you'd want to get through. 622. Boom. 622. Let me go properties. We'll go 622. This is just a gamma exposure level. We'll go GEX. Boom. We'll write it in here for you. Watch what happens if we can get through 622, and that could become more of a floor. Why? Okay. Here's this big little level right here on 0 to 8. This repels price. When we're below it, it can repel price. When we're above it, it can repel price to the upside. So if we can get through that 622 and hold it, that can lead us to that pop that we're kind of looking for. Okay? Mark it up. You see the chart on Discord, and it looks like SPY is flipped to the downside. Is this correct? Which chart? Which one? Not too sure. Maybe tag me in the chart. Or are you talking about like in the query channel or something? I'm not too sure. Excuse me. Heel toe cam A. I'm not too sure. Oh, AMC and GME are moving. Are they? Oh yeah, they definitely are. Little action here. Oh yeah, we're getting a little bit of squeezy McSqueezerton. I mean, I'm not going to trade it, but yeah, we're coming up to the upper vol range right now. Did Roaring Kitty say something? Came right up to its upper vol range there too. The one you shared. Give me a second. Let me see. Where did you share it? Or what channel? Just tag me in it. Tag me in it so it just goes right to it. Edit and then just yeah, tag me. So I can see it. And let me know when you do. I'm trying to keep an eye on it, but oh, there it is. Okay, I see it. I see it. Give me a second. Let me show you. Let me show you. Oh man, this is hard to see. Stupid monitor. Ah. I've never looked at this chart before. Is this from Spot Gamma, right? It'd take me a second to kind of decipher this chart because I'm just not used to. I see like there's like a low IV rank, a higher IV rank, and you got a high risk reversal rank. Is that kind of what you're pointing out there on this chart? The 78%. It's relatively expensive. I mean, it makes sense to me. It makes sense to me. It's a pretty cool looking chart. I've been considering doing Spot Gamma myself because, I mean, it's pretty clean. You were telling me that was pretty good. What was the price on it again? It's like $100 or something like that. Maybe I can look at some of the stuff. I wonder if there's any of that stuff that I can just build into my AsherBot, because I get data to a lot of this stuff. That'd be cool if they just did it and I could just buy their Discord bot. Okay, so yeah, we're at that 622 right now. So on that specific chart, it basically said, what was the put wall? 625? So if I pull up back to TradeETX, I'm just used to this. If I strike, yeah, 625 would be so this is what's different with a little bit different than TradeETX and Spot Gamma is, and Spot Gamma might have this too, but so if I go to the chart type and I go to by strike, yeah, for the day on zero date, 625 is definitely a level of focus that can act as resistance. However, the change that I'm seeing here intraday is right here. Well, now it changed again. 621. So this one alters. So we're above that 622, and then now 624 can be a level. So if we can hold 622, if we can hold that from what we just previously said, keep an eye. The next area could be potentially something like 624, which is way up here. So we're not even close to that, but the first one was the 622. So I'm just trying to see, can we hold 622? So, more bullish leaning above it and more kind of neutral below it, more of a weight. Bird taking wing. What's wing stop? Or what do you mean? Or what does that mean? Or what does that mean? Wing stop. Chicken wings. NQ still battling the trenches here of just the opening price. It just does not want to get above it. It got a little squirt above it, but it's still holding tight. It still makes me think that we're going to go up and, test the daily VWAP. I don't know where that's going to be when we get there, but market net flow, still bullish, kind of flatlined, no convergence, chop. Nothing. Or you mean app, APP? Yeah, app looked pretty good. I don't know if I posted this one in trade ideas. I thought I did. I think I did. Right? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I posted this in trade ideas. Yeah, it was getting nice and tight, so it looked like it can pop up here. So nice little move there. There's also GRRR. That was kind of coiling up here. Not my favorite, but it's, we saw it get tight here and then a big expansion of volatility and it's getting tight again. I don't have a position, and I probably will just not get one. But it does look like something that could potentially pop up a few bucks. Bird, are you talking about Bird maybe? Oh yeah, Bird popping up here a little bit. Up 5.9%, which is really nothing in this name, but it's moving. So cool. Holding above that 622, and now it's kind of repelling. So now we broke above the high of that inside candle. Okay, so maybe we get a little bit more traction here. Oh, is that okay? Here we go. There. So now we're floating around yesterday's VWAP, and we basically just ran into that. Okay, so I'm gonna go back over here, and I'm gonna show you what I mean. Go over here until they didn't have it on my screen. I think it was right here. There, cash market session. That's not it. Oh, I think, what am I doing? Was it yesterday's VWAP? Maybe I'm getting it confused with another one. Give me a second. Oh, you know what? No, I'm wrong. My bad. My bad. Trade-Evate. Trade-Evate loads it differently. So I was looking at Trade-Evate thinking it was the same thing. That's my apologies. It's not yesterday's VWAP. We're above yesterday's VWAP. I'm confused. Trade-Evate, I have to go back through history for it to load. And if I don't do that, then it's going to show wherever the back dated I went is. So it was pulling a little bit differently. My apologies. All right, we're at the upper portion of the opening range now.
From US President Trump, now concerns Sri Lanka. The tariff rate is 30% for Sri Lanka.
Oh, here we go. Now we're getting
and again, as usual, same
stuff.
Sort of language will be separate from all sectoral tariffs.
Doodling once again in this opening range. So we did see that pop to 23,000 from here. Had a feeling it would be somewhat quick. Still think that we can go test the daily VWAP, but we do have FOMC minutes coming out in an hour and some time. Hour and some time. Check in on the Twitch chat. See how we're all doing in here. Not much going on in Twitch chat. Talking right now. Okay, so he's talking right now. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, we might be waiting just for the FOMC minutes. That's totally true. Totally true. Got to update the YouTube title to FOMC
Next
minutes.
on the calendar in about 10 minutes time, we are going to start to get the results for the 10-year note auction in the US is to sell $39 billion.
All right, 10-year note auction coming up too. 10 a.m., 10 minutes.
Just going over the prior 10-year auction history, the high yield, that was 4.421%. Average in terms of the sixth auction is 4.47%. We did see a stop through 0.7 basis points in the last 10-year. That is in line with the average. So an average stop through 0.7 basis points. Bid to cover was 2.52 times, a touch beneath the average 2.56. Dealer take 9%, bringing the average down to 12%. Direct take was 20.5%, bringing the average up to 16.3%. And lastly, indirect take was 70.6%, average 71.7.
Shoo-ba-doo-ba-doo, bop-bop-a-doo-ba-doo. All right, updated title. What's everyone up to today? Thanks for hanging out. BFLY. Let's take a look at BFLY. That one I haven't seen for a minute. Butterfly. Butterfly. Butterfly in the sky. So we're basically hugging lows, right? So I don't love the so this is it, but what I do like, so price action once again is coiling up, right? NQ is kind of taken above the daily VWAP now. Let me make sure, because make sure that this is what I think it is again. Yeah, we're, oh my gosh, I swear, trade of 8, man. Yeah, we're at daily VWAP. Okay, there we go. So it is getting, it's a horrible trend, right? So mark that for more bearish side, right? Bearish, horrible trend, right? Not the greatest. And we're at lows, okay, not the greatest. But price action is getting tight, so you might be able to see a pop. So in these type of names, when I know that, and if I'm bullish and if I want to take a position, they're typically smaller positions, right? Because of the context of the chart. I definitely think that we can still pop up, and just a pop from this little area, right, up to here, you know, that's 20%. And then if it breaks down, okay, whatever, I'm out 6%. So I usually go smaller sizes and stuff in these type of trades if I'm going to go long. But the price action is getting tight, and it's right at that prior area that we saw a nice bounce from too. So Bird is trying to break out. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, we'll see if it can hold. Watch it turn red on the day. It'd be great. No, it wouldn't be, but you know what I mean. I have a position in it, so it'll probably turn red on the day. Just kidding. I don't know. Very illiquid name. But on the daily time frame, if you're watching the daily chart, looks fine. Looks fine. Birdie. All right, so there's that daily VWAP test that we were talking about down here that seemed likely to test it at some
President
point.
Trump currently speaking at the meeting with the African nations, not saying anything market related as of yet, just making you aware Trump currently speaking.
Well, maybe we can get some good volatility here. Need something. I did manage a little bit of a trade there. Quiet in the background. Quietly in the background. No position yet, or now. Back to market net flow. Convergence is kind of picking up over here. We're holding that 622. Remember what we said about that. And this is coming after this tight price action over here. So not too shabby, but we also have some 10 o'clock stuff coming out, unless it already came out. I don't think it did, but we have the 10 o'clock stuff coming out, and then also Trump talking to as well. Do all kinds of cool stuff. $62.40. What? $62.50. Oh, a little bit higher. I don't know. Not interested. All right, we're getting rejected from the daily VWAP here. NQ is. That's kind of the first reaction from the underbelly so far of daily VWAP.
And just as we're monitoring these remarks from Trump, says we are shifting from aid to trade in Africa.
MC. Let me take a look at MC. Did I pull that one up already? MC. Moles. Yeah, I'll be watching this one for consolidations. This one, it looked pretty clean right here. Even over here, kind of early entry area over here. Now I'd be waiting for consolidations. But it's running. It's going. How's my PHM position holding
Trump
up here?
says
Wow,
great economic potential in Africa.
Pumped to see that going. Why am I getting pinged here? Oh, never mind. never mind. Everybody in the club. PHM, good entry today. We're at the upper vol range of PHM. Doesn't mean it can't go higher, but we're there. 10-year note auction, 3-minute, also Jerome and 60. Yes, and we just got rejected back to the opening price range here. A lot of chop suey today. This is the first rejection of the daily VWAP from its underbelly. Remember, as stated earlier in the stream, that typically the first reaction can be the strongest. I like to see it from the upside, to be honest. So when it comes back and back tests it and then sees the strength through. But you know, some people like to short. I get it. I'm not all that. Oh man. My kid beefed it at the park. Took a beating. Running to the swing.
As we approach the top of the hour in about a minute's time, again, we'll be looking out for the when issued for the 10-year note auction, as well as the remainder of the results a couple minutes thereafter.
Dun, 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 dun. All right, market coming in a little bit here. A lot of chop. If something opens up, I'll take it. Went over a lot of different names today. Oh yeah, I was pulling up my watch list or tight list. Let me see here. Let me get to that. Let me see what we got going on in my names. MySpace. Futu. That's what I was thinking about. Futu was the name that was setting up from the tight list. That was in like the China space. Awesome. I'm so happy I don't have a position right now. It was right nice and tight here, setting up, and then today it's breaking out 9%. I love it. I love it. Great. It's fun times. Okay. Going through my list. FN. It's quite the big run there on FN. Kind of broke out. Now it's consolidating though, flagging out. After this big of a run, I would like to see a little bit larger, longer time frame of a consolidation, but still holding up pretty darn well. NQ coming back to the lower range here. I'm going to keep an eye here on tick now because as soon as I start to focus on something else happens. See if we can get any kind of extreme readings here. Come on. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate that.
And the when issued for the 10-year note auction, that's 4.365%.
Is that all-time high VWAP in blue at the top? Is that all-time high VWAP in the blue at the top? This one? This is, I think, just daily. This is daily VWAP right here. Boink. Yeah, this is just intraday. This is a 30-second chart. Nothing crazy. This one. And then this is non-farm payrolls. So daily. Non-farm payrolls. If I put a VWAP to the top of the daily top, I mean, that's not a bad idea. See where that lines up though. We're under that too. So right here, that would be the high VWAP, which is kind of, makes sense when we look at it, but I'm not using that right at this second. Oh, here we go. Here's some volatility. Come on, let's go. All right. So it ain't doing nothing. Come on. So this is what I like to see, these larger range candles kind of appear. But I also would prefer it to be much more
High
extended.
yield for the 10 years, 4.362%. That's a stop through of 0.3 basis points. Bid to cover 2.61 times. Primary dealers take 10.9%, direct 23.7%, indirect
10-year note option.
65.4%. In terms of reaction in the 10-year, not seeing two big moves. Couple upticks in the 10-year. Again, not two big moves following that 10-year note auction.
Let me take a look at TLT. TLT popped up a bit here. TLT is at its upper vol range for the day. I actually have a little bit of a position that I took the other day in TLT, or TMF, I guess. So give me a moment, because I'm going to just kind of scale
So just going over those results once again. So we did get ourselves a stop through 0.3 basis points. So not as big of a stop through when compared to the prior or the 6 auction average. And then bid to cover, that was 2.61, so an increase from 2.52, now above the average of 2.56. In terms of direct take, that's 23.7, so that increases from 20.5% and remains above that average of 16.3%. Indirect take, that fell to 65.4%, down from 70.6, and still remaining below the average of 71.7%. And so that left us with the dealers taking 10.9%, more than the prior 9%, but remains beneath the average of 12%.
Oops, sorry. Give me a second here. I'm just kind of removing up some of this stuff. TMF. TMF. Too much fun. This is actually a pretty sizable position that I took on in this account. Eesh. What was I thinking? I'm just going to close it. I don't need it. Okay. I don't like this leverage stuff. There we go. I'm out. Okay. It's fine. Okay. I'm back. Yeah. We didn't get an extended reading there by any chance on what's it called. So we're just kind of doodling around here. Still have that FOMC minutes. We're in the 30-second opening range on NQ. A lot of chop, right? Don't force trades. Just be patient, right? If you're doing the, by the way, if you're on the Tradeovate, if you guys like that video, the one, or Tradeovate, the video where I kind of went into what I've been doing at a prop firm. Has anybody not watched that video? I know some people don't like to day trade, but some people do. I legitimately gave you, not like, I kept it open for you to kind of create around it, because a lot of people are like, engineer mindset where they need the specifics. They're like, I need to do exactly like XYZ, but that's the thing with my strategy. You need room for interpretation. You need to learn it for yourself. So I kind of leave it open, but I give it like a framework to kind of build around, like a foundation of the tools that I use, what I've done. And maybe I'll just film some more of like my trades that I take. I just got to find out how to like record it quicker, because sometimes it's like a blink of an eye, right? The other day, Trump mentioned something on the tariff stuff, and it was literally, I had 15 seconds to respond. And if I didn't, then I would have missed the trade and I couldn't have done it, right? Or a minute or whatever the case is. Yeah, RN, which channel are you listening to? Okay, so the typical hold time, it's not long, DD. So if I start off small, it's okay. The typical hold time depends, because if I can scale in longer, it can be a little bit longer of a hold, right? But if it's like, if I enter in, like if it's the first one of the day and I start small, I start with like 1 to 3 MNQ contracts to scale. Like if I can build a buffer and make it, give some room, then it'll alter that. But typically from what I've seen, it's like anywhere from a minute to 5 minutes, right around there. Sometimes shorter. Like if it goes right in my direction right away, and I like don't like the setup all that much, I'm like, all right, I'll exit out of it and see if it sets back up again. And that's why you see that I take so many trades. One, it's because I'm using 5 accounts. So one trade is 5, right? So we'll say 5. And then 2, I might scale in 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, right? And then I'll scale out 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So it was like, oh man, you trade so much. It's like, yeah, but it was one setup. I just kind of ran into that. Okay. I have a lot of influence. You have influence of John Carter. I use a lot of the same strategy. I learned this not from John Carter. John Carter, I mean, there's a lot of traders that have been looking at ticks. Ticks have been around for a long time. It's based out of, I think it's just unique to the United States markets. But I wouldn't be surprised. It's like, Yeah, it's the same thing with the opening range strategy, right? Right. People talk about the opening range strategy. Little do people know that it kind of originated more from this guy Toby Crabble from a long time ago. So, but yeah, it makes sense. Extreme tick readings have been around for who knows, a long time. I guess it really depends on what your strategy is or what he does. I don't know the exact specifics, but he's a pretty intense trader. Like, right, he's very high stakes, from what I remember. Like a really high stakes trader. Like he trades like $1 million days sort of thing, right? He's crazy. Crazy good. Okay, let me see here. I'll have to look into his strategy, kind of what he does. I like to learn from other people. I'm a scalper, so I don't feel like he would be the scalping type, to be quite honest. I feel like he would be like a longer holder. Like he would probably build into a position most likely and probably hold on to it and make way more than I do. I'm picking up like scrapes on the ground. So I can learn something from him if I got to do some research. Okay, let me see here. You said Iran. Okay, let me see here. Questions about Asherbot when I went today. The Q's daily spin movement difference from what you really on daily tab. Okay, yeah. So Eugene, as far as the Asherbot, so take a look here. Boom. Let me go to SPY. You see this daily EM here? That's from the options market. I'm pulling this data from the options market. So same thing with Qs. I'm pulling this from the 1 DTE expiration options market. Asherbot is looking at its implied volatility as a percent terms. So it gives me a zone. So this right here, if you pull up SPY eyeball range, it's going to bring you up this level of 625.76 to the upper, 614 to the downside. So Qs, you can do the same thing. You have a daily implied move from the options market, and then I have my own calculation that gives me a risk of range based off of its implied volatility. So it gives me kind of a zone, right? Does that make sense? Okay. TLT is kind of moving higher here. Great thing that I locked out of a position. Wonderful. I still have a little bit left on a different account, but this account was plenty. Okay, somebody had mentioned Iran or something like that. Let me pull up that. Swing by night, scalp by day. He uses the same tools. Yeah, makes sense. He probably gets, he uses, from what I remember, he uses like a lot of tools. Like, I think that they have a developer and they just build out custom tools all the time. Like overload for me. Like I have quite a bit of tools, but they're more quant based, right? Like expected moves, right? He probably uses too. But like I don't know, like man, what is it that he uses? It's on the tip of my tongue. I'll think of it in a second. It's a very popular one, but that's not even it. There's like other like indicators on top of that.
Apple readying the Vision Pro, the new chip, and more comfortable strap, according to Bloomberg.
Somebody told me like who said to use something to pull up Iran or something like that. I can't find the message. Without using futures, my best SPS. TTM. What does that mean? Wait a second. Yes. That sounds familiar. Okay, so Iran on the daily time frame. Yeah, I'd be watching this consolidate. This is a huge move up on volume, but I would like to see some sideways price action for 7 to 10 trading days. Big moves in volume right over here. I have no idea what this is, by the way. Is this something to do with crypto? I would imagine it's crypto. Yeah, I think so. In a recent breakout on the weekly, we have an inside weekly candle. So yeah, if we can get a little bit tighter here, I'd be keeping an eye on something like this, that's for sure. I think Hut was actually a name too that was really nice looking. Flagged, consolidated, moved aside. It's good. And even like I bet like all these names, these crypto names are looking crazy good. Look at this. This thing looks like it's ready to move. What about Ethereum? What's that been up to? I was in a position for a minute and got stopped out, and then now it's back up here. TTM squeeze indicator. Yes, there. Thank you. The squeeze indicator. Thank you. I have it somewhere. I don't know where. The squeeze. Yes, I have that. So it's funny because he is also well aware that markets move between contraction and expansion. So how he measures it is by looking at, if I remember correctly, Bollinger Bands and Keltner channel, right? So when the Keltner channel is inside the Bollinger Bands, that's the squeeze. I could be wrong there. It could be the other way around. The Bollinger Bands in the Keltner channel. One of the two. That would be the squeeze, if I remember correctly. And for me,
state that 35% of its new product code is written with AI, and Microsoft touts $500 million in AI savings while slashing jobs.
Oh man, I didn't actually sell. I didn't press the sell button here. Good stuff. There we go. Now I did. Hey, that kind of worked out in my favor. Good thing. Wait a second. No. I'm an idiot. I did sell. And then I just sold the remaining piece from that account. Oops. This is what happens. This is what happens when I... Oh my gosh, I thought I didn't hit the sell button and it like kept on my screen. So I hit it again and then it sold the remainder of my position on this account, which that was not what I meant to do. Yeah, no, it's gone. Awesome. Cool. Good stuff. Fun. Whatever. I use a custom TTM math. Yeah, so what I was trying to say there, which I haven't actually looked like specifically at this, I'd probably have to spend a little bit more time. But I'll just look at the price action contracting, right? And there's probably a high probability, actually I can probably do this. I can probably look at his indicator on like some of the names in my tight list. And I bet you quite a bit of them are lined up as far as like being squeezed or whatever, like they're in the squeezer. Wait, no. Is it, when it's in a squeeze, it's like, I don't remember. You don't buy it the squeeze, you buy it when it like goes or something like that. Something like that. But this is my point. They'll look at that, right? Price and volume basically, increase the indicators, then you get your tight whatever. And then you can look at expected moves. And that's where a lot of the money is made. Okay. When you find a price action of a stock or equity that's tightening up, okay, squeezing or whatever you want to call it, and then the expected move, right, is they don't care about the price action being coiled up or tight, right? The expected move, right, is based off the options market. It's pricing in forward-looking risk. But when we know that price action's squeezing, and then you look at the expected move, the probabilities of a higher payout on like an options trade is if it breaks through expectations of the market.
Private investment into the multi-billion-pound development. Government stake expected to be diluted to around 47.5%, with Brookfield Asset Management, British, and also Centrica, and also the EDF in France holding the remainder, according to sources via the FT.
I'll sell them back. You did the same thing. You bought. Damn, that's funny. When it's in squeeze, he gets in. Okay, so he builds into a position in the squeeze, or like a full position. I'll have to look it up. It's worth looking. He's definitely proven himself to be quite the trader. Shoot, maybe I'll just reach out to him. He runs the company again. I think that he sold his company and then bought it back. At least somebody in Vegas told me that. I was in Vegas and they were talking about him. In Vegas. I met Larry Williams in Vegas. That was pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know if XBI is turning around for sure, but this is quite the move out of it. So for example, like I'm curious to know if his indicator was in squeeze right here, right? Because this was definitely tightening up on my end, just looking at price and volume. So that's why I kind of put this on in the trade ideas, and then bam, right? We get an explosion. So this looks really good. I didn't take a position, and A-Lab is holding up here really well. I do have TGX.
The latest New York Fed reverse repo operation.
TXG,
it does
sorry.
accept $227 billion across 37
That's down on the day.
counterparties.
But I entered it down here.
There's 219 billion.
That's annoying.
Across 37 counterparties.
It's kind of within that same space. Lame. That makes me want to switch. Okay. Okay, do I have an option? Okay, so back to exotic. You had mentioned, do I have a way of trading the ticks using like SPXL or SPXS, but timing quite in there? I mean, it would be done the same way, I guess, but you need a really fast execution, and you got to really look at the spreads and everything. That's why futures has kind of just worked for me. Now, I don't trade my own money in the futures account. It is I'm utilizing specifically a prop firm doing this. So
over the martial law bid.
Like just to make this very clear here, you can start a prop firm, one of these prop firms for like $50, right? Nothing crazy. And that can turn into a big gain if you like pass their whatever test and then you go through the next phase or whatever. And then you could utilize it doing it that way. But yeah, you can use equities and options and stuff like that, but you probably need to be faster executions or give yourself more space or whatever, like for the trade to play out and really wait for those extreme readings. I haven't done that. I haven't done it personally. So it requires some, I'm so much quicker with trading the DOM and futures doing that than I am anything else. So the pretty much the bulk of the Tradeify that I've been trading.
Is planning to launch a new AI chip designed specifically for China as soon as September. With
you pull
CEO
11K payout from
visit to
TS 2 weeks ago. Heck yeah, Dart,
country.
that's killer.
Chip is a version of NVIDIA's existing Blackwell RTX Pro 6000 processor, modified to meet US President Trump's tightened export controls. According to people with knowledge of the plans via the FT, says the product would be stripped of the most advanced technologies, such as high bandwidth memory and NVLink, which improves interconnections for faster data transfers. According to the Financial Times, there's also Huang has planned to meet top Chinese leaders as he attends the International Supply Chain Expo in Beijing starting next Wednesday.
I don't use cumulative tick. I use this. I use NYSE tick. I mean, and by the way, you can use a different tick if you want to, right? There's a lot of different tick charts. I use this NYSE tick. It's not cumulative. It'll give you basically extreme readings up here, extreme readings down here, and I just have some alerts set at 950, and I have like some just levels at like 850, and I keep an eye on those. And then the more extreme readings is in the thousands plus, minus 1,000 plus 1,000, whatever. But I'll still look into layering maybe in the nines and stuff like that. It doesn't need to be an exact 1,000. It just depends on how the day's going. Five days of trading, building your buffer now. Nice, build it up. Nice. Do you use, Darth, are you using Project X or whatever because they don't have Tradeivate? I just can't get behind. I've tried that before and I was like, I couldn't, like, it just felt heavy to me. So hopefully, like, maybe I'll give it another try sometime. But I just am so much used to Tradeivate that I just can't switch. The futures desk is interesting. Right now, I literally just last night bought my funded futures.
Government is
so I'm going to give them a shot.
After US remarks on Bolsonaro, according to local media.
The thing is, I really need. Oh, and then Top Step had the scaling thing, which I was like, oh, gosh, I want to have my access right away, and then I don't want to. I use MNQ, but they don't let you scale up your MNQs. You know, it's like if they allow you to trade 5 contracts, you can only trade 5 NQ or 5 MNQ, which I'm like, oh, that's kind of annoying. But I get it. Just would go with a bigger account, I guess. You like Project X more? Maybe I give it another shot. I can't get behind the DOM. Like that's how I trade is through the DOM, and it just felt just weird to me. Just not used to it. That's all. Yeah, so I'm trying MFFU or whatever it is now. Tradeivate for me is, so I gotten paid from Take Profit and Tradeivate. Take Profit and Tradeify. But take profit, or oh my gosh, Tradeify. I started like on the 150K account, 5 of them, straight to funding, super slow. Like 1 to 3 MNQs, so slow. So slow. So I got to the $9,000 consistency and all that stuff. It took me over 40 days, trading days. So over a month and a half. So it was slow grind. And I was like, and I just, in my head, I was like, I am getting this payout regardless of anything for all this time that I put in, because it was basically minimum wage at that point of how much time it spent me to do it. But then after that point, you have that buffer. And then I was like, okay, now I'm going to scale up a little bit. I'll start with like 2 to 3 or 7 or whatever like that. And then all of a sudden I could press it up higher to like, 10 to 20 MNQs or, 1 NQ. And then it just like, boom, it just took off from there. So I'm now working on my 5th payout with Tradeify. And if I get that, that'll be $80,000 in payouts, 0 resets, total of 5 accounts. And then they're going to have to be forced to move me to live and pay out the remaining balance. So it'll be $100K in payouts, and it'll be $20,000 or $40,000 in live. Crazy. Crazy. Oh, my stomach. You trade the minis? Nice. Yeah, they have payout caps. I don't know. I think it's 100K sim is what they pay out max. But then they move you to live at 80K too, regardless, I think, is also something that I read. Well, I wouldn't say I'm better than you by any means. I was just really patient. And all of a sudden, I'm on a hot streak, dude. I was like, I'm on a hot streak. So I'm starting really slow, got to scale it in, and played out well. I'll show you, if you want to see, I'll show you guys where I'm at now.
Burma and a Qatari envoy on Tuesday led to significant progress in negotiations.
It almost, honestly, it legitimately feels like fake to me, but the money hit my account. Like, I got paid it. I can't even believe it. Like, I mean, I can, because how these companies work, right? But that's crazy. They don't cap the first pay. No, they capped all my payouts. So when I had to get to 9,000, okay, so I'm just talking one account. I copy traded 5 accounts, but on the 150K straight to funding, I'll explain it here. So 150K account, straight to funding. The goal objective, oh my God, I'm looking at it right here. Let me just, oh no, well, it's changed because I'm past that objective now. The first profit target is 9,000, and then you can take a payout. Once you hit that, you had to do it for 10 days. Now it's only 7, which it took me 40 days, by the way. And then a 20% consistency, you could take out $3,000. That's it. You can only take $3,000 out, but you have to get to 9,000, which means you have a $6,000 buffer. But I did that with 5 accounts. So 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 15,000. So I get a $15,000 payout. I get 90% of that. So it ends up being like 13,500 or something like that. Then once you get that payout, you can go to your second payout. Now you don't need to get to 9,000. What you have to get to is 3,500, I think it is, over the course of 10 days. And if you get to that over the course of 10 days or more, you get another payout of 3,000. So I've done that now 4 times, and now I'm working, and typically they're going to move you to live after 4 times, minimum, but they didn't move me to live. They didn't reach out to me. Actually, in fact, on the 4th payout, I had problems. They didn't give me my payout. They approved it. They didn't give it to me. I submitted a ticket, and 2 days later, they responded and they fixed it and they paid me out. So that was nice that they did that. Which plan am I using for MFFU? Let me check. I'm doing the 150 starter plus. I don't know. It was so dang confusing to me, actually. I looked at all the stuff yesterday. I'm like, dude, this doesn't make any sense. I got tired of it, and I was like, I'm just gonna do this one. The starter plus, whatever that means. Oh, thanks, Sam. Does Tradeify have NinjaTrader access? Yes, it does. Now, Tradeify, though, I think you have to buy your own data, right? So it's like $14 or $12 or something like that. So I do pay a data subscription fee, which I don't think you have to. You don't have to at MFFU. And some other ones. Oh, my stomach, man. I am hungry. What exactly am I using? And is it future? Yeah, this is, I'm just talking about the prop firm thing right now. It's just prop firm. Tradeify. It's basically sim trading. It's not even a live account yet. It's just sim trading. And they, you pass their test or you go straight to funding, you have the ability to make money, which is crazy to me, but I guess it makes sense.
In the healthcare space, Axios reporting that RFK Jr. has postponed the Obamacare coverage panel meeting.
Yeah, Nasdaq's
the
very
Health
today.
Secretary Office has postponed a meeting of the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force, which was scheduled for Thursday. It's due to take up healthy diet, physical activity, and other steps to prevent cardiovascular disease, according to sources via Axios.
Oh, that's cool to know. The Futures Desk. I haven't seen them or heard of them. I gotta check them out. Or maybe I did hear about them. There's one that I reached out, or not that I didn't reach out to. They said something on Twitter and I responded to them, but they didn't respond back. Maybe it was them. Can't remember. So yeah, so the prop firm that I'm using is Tradeify, and I'm trading only MNQ. MNQ. That's the only thing that I'm trading. I don't buy the NQ contracts. The minis. I'd have to be so much more like in tune if I'm using those or trying to scale, because it's like the likelihood of blowing up intensifies for me. Especially with what I do, fading. Like, I would consider this strategy kind of picking up pennies on the side of the road sort of thing, to be honest. It's a high win rate, and there's a lot of pennies to pick up on the side of the road. Don't get me wrong, but, it ain't easy. I mean, it's not hard. It's just, you can do endless scaling in it, so you can layer dollar cost average or whatever. That's good to know. Also, there's some firms that like don't allow for like scalping. Like you have to hold it for 10 seconds. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, don't put that on me. Like, I don't want to. That's the thing. Like, you got to be very close to pay attention to some of these people's rules, because they're like, oh, you held this one for 8 seconds, so this doesn't count. It's like, really? Will FOMC rise gold today? It might. Feel like these type of things get priced in, but we'll see what it brings. The market hasn't done anything. This little yellow line right here is where the market opened up. This blue line and this blue line, that's the 30-second candle to start the trading session. We're in the opening range still. We haven't done anything. We got rejected from the daily VWAP over here, the underbelly for the first test. Then this VWAP down here is non-farm payrolls from like July 2nd or 3rd or whatever it was. Yeah, Tradeify says 5 seconds or more, I think. Yeah, I think you're right there. But they also said in like the disclaimer that they don't allow for dollar cost averaging, or in the what's it called? And then I asked, and then they said, no, we do. And I was like, okay, you might want to switch that.
Didn't President Trump says they will take a look at sending another Patriot system
but
to Ukraine?
My thing goes, the 5 second thing, that's okay to me. Like the majority of all my trades are longer than 5 seconds. It's the whole thing was like, it was like 50% of your trades has to be above 10 seconds. And then I was like, okay, that would be the case. Like I fall within those regulations, but I don't like to think about that while I trade.
About what is going on
and
in
I felt that
Ukraine.
10-second one because it's going to hold me back a little bit there in my head. So I just said, I'm going to go with Tradeify instead. 100K worth of pennies. Yeah. Paying on pennies. I'll show you guys kind of the log here. So this was last month. This was last month. Oh, and Tradeify has a cool journal too. That was last month. This is this month. This month doesn't look like it's updated. Let me show you here. Today's price action doesn't look updated. I think I did better than $423. I don't think that it's just updating correctly. Let me refresh this. whatever. I think I got more than $423 today. It's just not loading correctly, but I'll just show it anyway. Yeah, I see the USD GPY. I'm not too sure
President
what
Trump
you mean by
says
that,
they will
though.
have more tariffs coming out Wednesday, which is today.
This is this month, or this month.
President Trump says that the Brazil number will come out.
Higher than that though, so I don't know why it's only showing 423. It's like it's not loading. I have 253 times
Says
5.
he will release
so
Brazil
I should have
numbers
over
later on this
1,000
afternoon or
today.
tomorrow morning. Trump
Maybe
says
it'll take
for
a second to
Brazil.
load. And then no, I got some red. Here. And May. Here's May. May I have 3 red days, and one of the red days, like it took me a while to build out of the hole because the first trade of the day was like just horrible. Or no, it wasn't the first trade of the day. Or no, that wasn't that. That was actually a prior month. So 3 red days that month. And then the month prior is April.
President Trump says we haven't had too many complaints on tariffs.
That one had the biggest red day, which was down 4,000. Then the next day I got 2,000. The next day after that, 2,000. So it took me a while to build back. It took me 2 days to build that back, but 1 day there. And then the month prior to that was March. And then March is when I started. And in March, I started off very slow. There's March. The bulk of that was all tick fading, and the only times that I got caught up was when I didn't do tick fading. So global, good. That's what I was about to say. So you asked perfectly. Who pays the commission on your trade? I mean, this is a sim account, so it's fake. So the commission comes out of my gains or whatever, right? So I pay commission for the trades, but it's a sim account, so it's like fake money. That's the thing. I'm not even in a live account yet. They'll bump me. They'll be forced to move me to live because they paid me out already quite a bit.
At the meeting will face tariffs.
But yeah, and then I'll have to pay those commissions. They'll come out of my account or whatever, just like they're doing right now. Okay, so so today tick wasn't extreme. So how did I trade? Okay, so tick hasn't been extreme yet, but how did I trade? I'll show you. Okay, once again, I look at also 1 DTE levels right out of the gate, and then I watch market net flow. Market net flow has been pretty bullish all day, so we got some volatility here, and I look for little pops and stuff when things try to settle in. So I'll play accordingly to market net flow, and if a trade sets up, I'll try to take it. So there was a couple of trades I think I took today live, just kind of quiet about it, where I said, I don't remember, from like the non-farm payroll area, somewhere around here where I got a little bit of a pop tick, somewhere around, where was it? There was one trade around here that popped up that we said, getting through this level, we probably see a quick pop up to 23,000, and then a retest of the VWAP. So there's little opportunities that I'll just like use 1 MNQ. So if I'm not getting the tick reading, right, I'll just do like a couple of scalps here and there and try to make 20 bucks, 30, 40, 50 bucks, something like that. And then it kind of builds up this little buffer. And then if a tick play comes around, then I can get a little bit heavier. And that's when you see those bigger days typically, is that. AJ, no, I'm actually getting paid out. Yes, I am. So that's the thing. So these prop firms, how they work, so first off, all prop firms, by the way, if you go down into their, what's it called? They have to state their win rate. I forget where, I got to look into that. It's one of the, I think rules or laws or something. They have to post in the percent of people that win the challenges or whatever. Correct. Yes, they do pay me. Yes. So this is how it works. The majority of traders fail challenges. So first you have to buy the challenge. Okay. So that's money that goes to Tradeify. Then a lot of people fail challenges. So they reset or they buy another challenge. That money goes back to Tradeify. Every once in a while, you get this wild bird guy that comes in, right, and is trading this account, this fake account, and passes the challenge, and then qualifies for all these payouts. And then they're like, okay, what's the most he does before he blows up? And then they do their math and they say, we based off of this percent of people that lose, it's like a big pyramid scheme, basically. That's where people will fail, is if they don't have the savings. By the way, these firms, they can fail if they don't have the savings in the back and if a lot of traders succeed, or they'd have to move more to live, right? So they'll probably look at it and they'll be like, well, okay, we can pay out sim accounts up to 80 to 100,000 before moving them live based off of how many people fail, right? And reset and do this, okay? And then if they get to that level, which is very rare, it's like 1% to 2% of people, they get there, then they move them to live, right? So they paid me, I paid them $2,500 to start, okay? I bought 5 challenges, 150K straight to funding, so I don't need to do their challenge. I didn't want to do the challenge. I was like, I don't need to. I just want to start trying to make money now. Okay. I bought 5 accounts straight to funding. It took me 41 days of trading very small, very, very small to reach my first payout. Okay. 41 days. So then they paid me out $15,000. Technically $13,500 because they keep a portion of it, right? So I get paid $13,500 after 40 days on 5 accounts total. Okay. Then I have to do it again to get another payout. So I made $9,000 per account, fake funds. That was the challenge. And they only pay me out $3,000, 33% of what I made. Right. So now it's starting to sound like, oh, that sucks. Because if I was doing it from a live account, my own money,
we should have the lowest interest rates.
Right? Then I would have made, what's 9 times 5? So 40, why did I use my calculator? 9 times 5, 45. So 45,000. So if I would have used my own funds and my own thing and I did myself, I would have made $45,000 in that amount of time. So people might be like, why would you even use a prop firm? Just use your own money. Well, that's where it comes in is if I follow their rules, my risk total is $2,500. That's it. To even have an account to trade futures, my account has to be more than $25 just because of margin alone. I don't know what the margin is on. I can look it up. The margin requirements on an on one MNQ contract, but that's the thing. I wouldn't have the leverage to use multiple MNQ contracts or layer in with only $2,500. I'd have to have a $10,000, $20,000 account, and then you'd have to make sure that you don't blow that up. So they allow for that leverage, right? And the reason why they're so successful and they're popping up like yogurt shops, there's a new prop firm every 5 seconds, is because so many people fail. They rush the process. But I promise you, if you just do what I show and you do it very small and you're just like, and you don't make it a big deal, right? Because this is what happens.
Of the US forces
when you start a prop firm, the first thing that's going to go through your mind, especially looking at a video like I posted, when you see these results.
Wednesday being cited by Yonhap. Does come amid speculation, but the Pentagon might weigh the idea of a troop drawdown on the Korean Peninsula to prioritize the.
When you see my results, the first thing you're going to do is when you get the thing is like the first thing in your mind and everybody's mind, because this is human nature, is I have the potential to make X, Y, Z. So you're going to constantly think, oh, I can make this much, I can make this much, I can make this much, right? And unfortunately, that means you're probably going to try to level up in size. You're going to have a hard time walking away from a losing day, right? And if you're having a losing day, you're going to try to fight it back. But if you approach it and you this is how I did it. This is how I tricked my mind. I said, I'm going to be excited if I'm going to have a $50 green day, and then I'm going to walk away from it. That's how I basically started. But I did it with 5 accounts, right? I showed you the first day. I showed you the days. Did I have some here? Yeah, I showed you somewhere. Where is it? Yeah. My first day was $483. Hold on. This is when I first started. Okay? Let me show you. Let me break it down for you. Calculator. Let me bring up the calculator. I'm not good with quick math. Okay, so 483 divided by 5. $96. That's all I made trading some NMNQ contracts. And I was like, sweet, cool. Now, the problem here that people face the next day, they're going to say, okay, now I got to get this much, or I got to make this much. And then you focus on how much you're going to make. I didn't. I just said, all right, it's a new day, erase whatever's here. I'm not going, after a winning day, I'm not going to go sit and think about it and how much I can make. I just did not care. I said, I'm going to hold this account for as long as possible. And I'm going to just scalp so tiny or trade so small. And then hopefully over time, I build a big enough account. The next day was $243 over 5 accounts. Divide that by 5. I don't know what that is. That's what? 243 divided by 5. Just do 250 divided by 5. Oh my God, oh my gosh. 2.5 divided by, oh my gosh, why am I doing this? 2.5 Oh my gosh, 250. Oh my gosh, why is it my calculator 250 divided by 5? Okay, there we go. Okay, all right, here we go. $50. Such easy math. I'm like over here. So $50. I made $50 on an account, but I copy traded 5 accounts, right? So it says 243. The next day was $63. That's like $11. I made $11 and I was like, I'm done. You know? This day I lost $48. Did I try to make it back? No, I didn't. I didn't care. I was like, I'm leaving. And then the problem here too is then people start to say, but if I have one bad day, it's going to erase all of this. Good, let it, whatever. And then learn from it and then slowly build it back again and get back into better habits. The point is, do everything possible that you can to not think about your prior days, because that's not going to help you in this intraday basis. Okay. And then 2, don't sit and think about how much you can potentially make, even though that it's human nature and it's going to happen anyway. But if you approach it slow and then all of a sudden build very, very slowly with just MNQ, just don't even touch NQ. The way that these survive, okay, I know this for a fact because I heard it from a prop firm owner. The majority of people fail because they go big size on small accounts and large accounts. So if you're going to do the opposite of everyone that fails, you go big account, smallest size possible. That was my thought process, right? So I went 150K. I went straight to funding. I said, I'll just do that because I'm comfortable with it. And then I'm going to trade smallest size. And I did that for 41 trading days, looking at tick. And by the way, during this time, because in the video, I was very clear about my strategy working in certain conditions. During that time, in March, the end of March, got 15 minutes to FOMC. During that time in March, so right here, February, and then March was like right around here when I started. See this right here? We were in negative gamma. See this right now? We are in positive gamma. Over here, I was getting minus 1,000, plus 1,000 tick readings multiple times a day. Multiple times. Over here, I was not. So I had to adapt a little bit. I had to, 1, be ready for when it happened. Okay, so set my alerts. Then 2, I had to also really pay and lean heavily on, hey, market net flow and some of key gamma levels if I want to start, leveling it up. Okay, so the tick strategy really works a lot better. I wouldn't say it works better. I would say that you get more opportunities when you're in negative gamma, when you're under the flip line, because volatility increases. And when you have more volatility, for a day trader, that's where you thrive. It's so funny because I see online, like on Twitter and X, they're like, price action's trash. They've been saying that, through here. Price action's trash. There's no good movements. It's because they don't even understand what it means for dealers in a positive gamma environment. They have zero clue to that. In fact, they don't even look at gamma levels, right? But then over here, they're like sharing screenshots, are like, this is the best. Why? Because it's more volatility. But they just don't understand that flip. So when you're here, you need to be patient. That's the slow times. When you're here, you'll have more opportunities, okay? This is where people are going to fail more accounts because it's intraday trading and it's typically favors swing trading more. But you do get an occasional bump of volatility because, well, Trump is in office and he says something, does something, he tweets often. We get macro reports, whatever the case may be, will create a little bit of volatility and it's very quick. So you got to be prepared for that. Here, gives you more opportunities. Okay. So I don't know if anybody's listening to me. I just went on for like 45 minutes straight, it felt like. Hope that helped. I don't know where I stopped there. Okay, let me see here. Let me see some of these streets. Hey, Mike, you did watch it. Okay, cool. What's your typical hold time? Okay, I did talk about that. I seem to struggle interpreting price action on days net flow is showing different price picture in the market action. Like today, net flow is positive, but the price action pull back. So yeah, so as far as the price action today in market net flow, it's bullish, but what is it doing really right here? The lines are flatlining. They're not going anywhere. Here, they were diverging. They were literally diverging, which is very bullish. So if price action on SPY was actually going down or flat, and this was happening, I'd be very bullish. If all of a sudden this starts picking up like this and this starts staying flat or going down, I would think that we're going to get a squeeze end of day if price isn't matching that, right? So that's how I would interpret that the divergence. Right now, yeah, this is bullish divergence, but they're flatlined. Actually, this is kind of going down. This is kind of going up to sideways. So yeah, what's price action doing? Ain't doing nothing. It's chop. This is a choppy read for me right there. Too much to think. You're nervous about futures? I was too. That's why I'm not using my real money. I buy a prop firm account, right? And I don't need to worry about it because the most I'm going to lose in a prop firm is whatever I spend on that challenge. So if I wanted to start a, what's it called? You know, let me go to Tradeify. Let me see what they have. Let me go. I don't even know how to use this thing, dude. How do I find it? Where can I even buy an account? I don't even have that option here. Where is it? Start a challenge. There we go. Yeah, so they have advanced growth and then straight to funded. So straight to funding, 150K, it says 729. But you can, the promo code, I have one, FOM, but then there's also one TVT right now that gives you your first account for 50% off. So it'd be half of that. But then if you don't want to pay that kind of money, that's the most you can lose. If you want to try their challenge, you can get a 150K account for $129. Then you have to pass their challenge, whatever that is. But then you have that activation fee of $125 if you pass it. So the growth account would be less, but you can even go smaller than that. Let's go growth account, 50K account, that's $139. Your profit target would be $3,000, and there's zero activation fee. So the most you'd lose there would be $139 if you wanted to learn futures this way. In my opinion, this is a great way to learn futures, to day trade futures. You're not swing trading here, it's day trade. But then you also read the rules and stuff. Versus going into a futures account and opening one up, having no idea, and then putting your own money at risk. Crazy. I would not do that because you'd have to know about margins. You'd have to know, oh my God, rolls, right? You have to make sure you understand all of this stuff. Limits, there's so much. And then you have to understand what each tick is worth and what product trading that's eligible to trade, and then what each tick is valued, all the margin. It's a whole different ball game. That's why the prop firm kind of space is like an easy barrier to entry where you can learn it, because you don't need to really risk much. Or you probably can get a paper account for free somewhere too. That's another way of doing it. I don't trade XAUSD gold. No, I don't. I hardly even trade gold. Why are we talking about gold so much right now? What's going on here with gold? Gold's been going sideways. You know what? Actually, gold's been kind of correlating with the dollar, which means that a falling dollar is typically good for gold. But recent trade, it's been kind of correlating. So I wonder if that correlation is going to go back to negative, or if the dollar falls, is gold going to come down with it? Fed, we got 10 minutes. Oh, Top Step gives free practice. There you go. Yeah, that's even better option, to learn it. Do it for free. Don't waste your money. I would highly suggest, if you're going to get into futures and you don't know anything about it, do not open an account with your own funds without paper trading, practicing, learning about it a little bit more. Definitely helps to have your own money and play with it, but I would that's how you learn faster, as your own investment. So at bare minimum, then I wouldn't put my own personal funds into an account. I would do a prop firm, and more specifically, if you don't even want to use your own funds, I would find a paper account and learn the DOM, the Devon market, how to trade the DOM, day trading, or how to swing trade, whatever your kind of preference is. But I would not, even if I don't even know if you'd be allowed to, because there are certain restrictions, but some accounts do allow for just you to hop in, and like Tasty Trade will let you to do whatever you want with your own money, basically. But Yeah, just paper trade or prefer to start until you feel comfortable, because it's a whole different game. And options is a whole different game too, right? Learning spreads, learning condors, learning whatever advanced options there, selling, right, versus buying. So there's a whole different ball game there that requires a lot of a learning curve. And to me, like, all of this is big, right? I don't even trade options because I'm like, I could probably do a lot better if I traded options and traded spreads, to be quite honest. But I just got so comfortable and relaxed with trading equities. So that's what I do. I trade equities. And now futures. But I'm not doing it with my own money. I'm doing it in a sim account right now, at least. And it's through a prop firm. That's it. So, and I'm using Tradeify because there's a lot of scandalous prop firms too. Like, right? I don't know the inner workings of all these companies. I don't know if Tradeify is going to be around in 10 years. I have zero idea. But I do know that they paid me. We're getting a little volatility here. Let's go to tick. Here we go. Nothing. I think it's just illiquid right now because we have FOMC minutes coming out. So I'm going to run to the restroom. I'll be right back. And then I'll get some more water, and then we'll watch this FOMC dip. Watch it happen right when I'm leaving, too. I'll be right back. Give me a second here. Sorry. Are we going live with futures? I mean, I'm trading futures right now. It's not from a live account though. It's from a prop firm, right? So it could be live in the next week and a half because I'm about to reach my payout cap, so they're forced to move me to live at this point. I've gotten over 4 payouts. That's when they move me to live, but they didn't move me to live. So it's either 4 or more payouts and or $80,000 or higher in payouts that they forced to move you to live. I'll be right back. The one that I'm trading is, man, this price action, man. Give me a second. Gosh. The one that I'm using is Tradeify. That's the only one kind of that I'm kind of like, the only reason I feel comfortable with promoting and putting in the FOM affiliate code to it is because they paid me out. They were quick to respond. I had one problem on my 4th payout over the holiday weekend or whatever. It was approved but never paid, and they got me the money in like 5 days. Like, it was nothing. It was like no sweat, just submit a ticket, and it was done. The next morning when I submitted the ticket after the extended holiday. So I was like, yeah, I can get behind this. But once again, like, I don't know, like, if everyone started getting big payouts, how do these firms stay afloat? They only stay afloat by losing traders or moving people directly to live faster, right? Where they have to pass a challenge and then they move to live. So there are some firms that do that too, and those could stay around because they're more sustainable. Because if they just move you to live, they get a % of your gains, and or you blow it up. And it's like, what do they lose? $2,000, $3,000, but yet 90% of people already fail their resets, right? I got 5 minutes here. Yeah, give me a second here. All right, I'm back. Oh, water. Okay. All right, we're cranking up here. We're at 360 concurrent viewers. If you can, hit that like button. It'd be appreciated on the YouTube stream. I'm only at 126 likes. Come on. Show some love. You know you wanna. That's how you sponsor today's videos, by smashing that thumbs up button. All right, here we go. We're getting FOMC in 2 minutes. Should I go in my pineapple or rocket ship? I don't know how to do a poll, but can I do a poll? Engage with your audience. Start a poll. Should I? Pineapple or rocket? Ready? I'm going to start a poll. Pine, apple, or rocket? Pineapple? I don't even know if I'm spelling pineapple right. Or rocket. Start. Let's see what we got. Go. Vote it. Go. All right, we're so far 57% rocket. Still in that range. We're not missing anything. We got about 1 minute left. So far, it's oh my gosh, 50-50 here. We got 1 minute. Let's go. All right, 52%. I'm going to go into the rocket, I guess. Rocket gold down. All right, we're at 52% rocket right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and hop in the rocket. It's 51%. Because we're about to get our FOMC. Here we go. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Jack. Doobie-doop-boop-boo. 55% says the rocket. Yeah, I think, only one promo code for TVT. And then FOM, I think, is just the best, whatever the best deal is at that time that they offer. And it's just a way to show some support to me. That's all it is. You can use whatever code you want, whatever promo. Use a promo code, but FOM will be the best discount other than the TVT currently for one account. All right, here we go. FOMC minutes. Wow. Let me pull up my news.
Expectations and ongoing economic resilience. Just know that several participants said current Fed funds rate may not be far above its neutral rate. All participants viewed it as appropriate to maintain the FFR at the current target range. Those participants cited, and additionally, the New York Fed SOMA chief says market participant survey respondents see February 2026 as the end date for the balance sheet drawdown versus January 2026 in the prior survey. And participants observed uncertainty about the economic outlook had diminished amid reduction in announced unexpected tariffs, but overall uncertainty continued to be elevated. That was in the Fed statement at the last meeting. And Fed staff saw higher real GDP growth for 2025 than in the previous forecast and saw inflation lower than the prior forecast.
Not much movement. See if anything's happening to the dollar. I'm checking bonds, checking yields. See if anything's going on with the dollar. A little bit of a reaction to the downside, nothing. Still within the 30-second opening range for NQ. No rocket ship, no pineapple, no nothing yet. Nothing going on.
Another update from the Fed minutes. The New York
Still
Fed
under daily
SOMA
VWAP.
chief says market participant survey respondents see Fed portfolio at $6.2 trillion. That'd be about 20% of GDP. Reserves to be at $2.9 trillion and the on RRP balance to be low.
According to Downtown Scalps, my chart screams scammer. You must be new. You're new. Don't. I'm treating Twitch audience like a stepchild. No, I keep on pulling it up, but the YouTube one is the core stream that I can see here. All right, so we're just chopping back and forth here, really nothing. You're 19K positive on 10 prop accounts. Sick. $70 days in. Yeah, you're being patient, that's for sure. Yeah, nothing happening here on FOMC minutes yet. We're still chopping around. Under the daily VWAP, let's take a look at market net flow. Let's see what we're doing here. I will say this, market net flow, take a look. We talked about this earlier. Watch the green line going up. That could be a good sign. Okay, we'll continue to watch to see if this develops into anything, but SPY is going flatline, and all of a sudden we had the cumulative net premiums of calls picking up. Can it be something? Perhaps we come right back up to daily implied move on SPY. Okay. Do I go to a physical address for the prop firm? No, yeah, Joe, this is just an online thing. Yeah, no, it's a remote. They sell you challenges. You go to pass a challenge, or you buy this straight to funded. These are I always, when I talk about these prop firms here, I always use quotes because they're not like, in my opinion, they're not real prop desk. A real proprietary trading desks. There are some remote ones, but those are ones that are definitely live accounts. They ain't doing no sim stuff. It takes a very, very long and hard process to even become a trader there. And even when you're a junior trader with basically nothing, right? And then the amount of time and everything that goes into actually being a real proprietary prop desk trader, very intense, because you're dealing with real money, a lot of it, right? There's definitely some traders out there that make millions a year at these prop desks, real prop desks, not these little yogurt shops, the ones that I'm talking about. Anything good to scalp? I mean, right now I was talking about how S&P 500, the cumulative net premiums was going up here, but SPY wasn't moving. That to me is actually a pretty good sign. So I would say that if we can get through NQ up here, maybe there's a little bit more of a pop to come. Let's do it. Still below the daily VWAP. Yogurt shops, yeah.
Just further in the minutes, does note that a few participants noted that there had been limited progress recently in reducing core inflation.
The reason why I say yogurt shops is because there was a point in time where I was like, there was a yogurt shop, like a Pinkberry or some other shop, literally opening up on every street corner, at least in where I live. You know, it was like, dude, why are there so many yogurt shops? Because they're cheap to open, low overhead, easy to run, and that's what happened. These prop firm yogurt shops, they're super, super profitable because 95% of people fail, right? It's like a casino, and you have a better edge. There's way less overhead, although you do need quite a bit of buffer room, and you could operate it with a team of 10 people, maybe less. I couldn't do it. It's not my I couldn't open a prop firm. I just couldn't do it. It's just not my style. But
just further in the Fed's minute now on the labour market, most participants suggested that higher tariffs or heightened policy uncertainty would weigh on labour demand, and many participants expected a gradual
10 people who run a yogurt shop?
softening
No,
of
10 people who run a
conditions.
prop firm. Not 10 people who run a yogurt shop. Probably less people to do a prop firm, but you need a risk manager, or maybe multiple. I don't know. Like somebody to manage risk. You need a marketing officer. You probably need financial CFO. You need CEO. Affiliate manager. I mean, some of these jobs overlay, but was market net flow giving us some insight here? Cross that out. Market net flow, is this giving us some insight here early on? It may have been. No, by the way, Alchemist, they don't guarantee to teach you how to trade.
Additionally, in Fed minutes, several participants
prop
noted
firm?
that
The
lower and
shop?
moderate income households were switching to lower cost items and brands, or that these households could be disproportionately affected by tariff-related price increases.
Yep, Q's over VWAP. NASDAQ NQ over VWAP. We just squirted above it. I'm telling you, this is why I like market net flow. We talked about this earlier. If all of a sudden it keeps going up, there's some opportunities there. Okay, SPY's going back up to daily. Not too far off. What's up? Who said rocket ship? They were right.
And then concerning the business
Dollar's coming
sector,
off, so this
participants
fall in the
noted
dollar
that
right now
activity
is
remains solid,
definitely
although
helping
there
this
have been
move.
signs of softening. Many observe that indicators of business sentiment remained low. And then with respect to investment spending, several participants reported that business contacts have indicated that the firms were proceeding with existing investment projects, but that heightened uncertainty was making them cautious about beginning new projects, especially larger ones. Some smaller new investments or those with more certain payoffs were still being undertaken.
62.40. We're above that. All right. Come on, blue skies. Let's go, dude. Let's go. Could use some blood in bonds. What is going on with bonds right now? Oh man, they keep going higher. I sold here, and then I left a little bit on, I thought, and then I accidentally didn't. I got out, so I'm out of my bond position, but I'm still happy with it. That was a good trade. Right now I have an MNQ on. I'll show where that's at in a moment. Heard that we expect an ES-EU trade deal announcement tomorrow. Okay. That'd be probably a market moving event. Where's the rocket? Here, I'll hop in my rocket ship. Woohoo! NQ is still just kind of consolidating right here on a very short time frame, right? We're nowhere right now, right? We're above the opening range. We're above daily VWAP.
The foreign minister says they are in contact with major US copper importers. Will make all efforts to know the scope of US measures.
Right above the opening range.
Continue to find market for its copper.
Pineapple.
There's a note that they do not know the precise scope of copper tariffs from the US, as it has not been yet reflected in an executive order.
I don't know. We're kind of flagging out here. Let's keep an eye on market net flow. I mean, the cumulative net premiums for puts still flatlined, and the calls kind of just went up here. So, I mean, that's a bullish. It's bullish. It's pretty darn bullish. I wouldn't really look to fade that right now. I wouldn't do it. We're moving right now. Gold. Yeah, what's going on? Everyone's so interested in gold right now. What is going on with gold? What am I missing here? I mean, it's just consolidating. It's not horrible right now, right? It's higher lows. Maybe we're looking at this for a pop back up to these highs. That's definitely possible. We'll see. You could be very right, Darth. Yeah. I mean, I'm just watching the flow of the market here. Is telling me what I need to know. That little move right here was a little inside info. I don't know how long it can last, but you know, that was inside enough. That was enough inside information for me to just kind of pop into an MNQ contract and kind of see where it goes. I love gold. IWM's moving. Any thoughts on UNH? I'll pull up UNH. I do have a position in UNH still. Yeah, IWM's moving, which means that ARC is probably moving here out of its little pocket. I was looking at ARC down here, then right over here, and now it's moving out of another pocket over here. NQ keeps cranking here. I'm still in my MNQ. Let me see here. I'm exiting actually right there. And I'll update you on my P&L. So I think it still has the possibility to go further, but that brought me up to it was basically $60 because I traded it right here when we started seeing market net flow. As soon as I noticed that, I was like, I'm going to take this. And it was one MNQ contract, made about $60, but I did it on 5 accounts. So a little bit more than that, which brought my total today up to $311 after commissions for 5 accounts. So 311 times
Energy
5.
update from El Paso Natural Gas Company.
I'm going to do day done right there for me.
Its Plains compressor station located.
And let me see if it refreshes on my journal. and we'll keep an eye on it. We can take a look at Oracle stock too. What's 300 times 5? 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh yeah, there we go. That's updated. Cool. Actually is updated this time. There you go. Okay. 1.6. Woohoo! Woohoo! Type of the guy that TFD. What is that? Should promote you trading your account though they. Oh, you like talking about Tradeify? I reached out to them. Like, I don't get it. Like, I was even considering trying to join and being one of the hosts for their live show. I said I'd be down to do this because that would force me into more of a job role, and I would like doing that. And they reached back out to me, but they went with kind of three. Oh well, they knew that I have what's called. And they said you can't do live streams anymore. And I said that's fine. I won't do live streams on my channel. I'll do them over here. Oh, the futures desk. Okay. Sorry, my bad. And then I reached out to them and saying, I'll be a guest and I'll talk about it, what I do. And just, they didn't respond. I'm like, but then they're bringing on these people, these like some of these traders. And I'm like, why are you, it's like they're aligning with friends or something. Like they bring on like just literally affiliate promoters. I'm like, why are you bringing this person on? They're talking about order flow and they're looking at a candlestick, like an order block and stuff like that. And I'm like like they have no idea what they're talking about as far as market dynamics go. And they're promoting these people to like, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. So that was kind of weird, but it is what it is. Guess I'm just sour. Yeah, maybe it's sus, but maybe the trade desk, maybe the futures desk, I'll look into them. Maybe they'll have me on, you know, or maybe not, who knows, but I definitely asked Tradeify. I said, I'll be a guest. I'll share what I know. But I for some reason, I feel like they think that like I'm taken away from them because I have a YouTube channel. But then I'm like, well, they brought up this person, Tanya Trades. And I'm like, and then same with other these kind of like simp kind of people online, they bring her in, but it's like, are they even listening to what she's saying? Like it's such a newbie trader. She's clearly making her money from affiliate marketing. And even if you make some good trades here and there, holy cow, the stuff that she was saying was like, dude, dangerous for any new market participant to learn about market structure and stuff like that, listening to what was coming out of her mouth. And then you had like Jay Dunn Trades, which is, he opened up a prop firm and it was just, he wasn't even it was all kinds of weird, very weird stuff, you know? Yeah, I wouldn't even consider it shots fired. I think it's legitimate because I said that. I said you, like I said straight up, like you don't. It's not what you're talking about here, order blocks and stuff like that, and you're just looking at a candlestick chart. That's not what that is. It's not that. Like you can't just take market terminology and just reuse it somewhere else. You know, like it doesn't work that way. Like you can't go anywhere and say, this is an order block. Like, what do you mean an order block? You're not looking at it. You're not looking at market depth. You have no idea what you're talking about. Just saying. You need level 2 data. You need market depth to talk about order blocks. You need various different tools to be able to look at that. And then the fact that none of them mention gamma is crazy. Crazy to me. But with that said, you can still be a successful trader just looking at candlesticks. There's nothing wrong with that. At all. But that's what you got to know is you're just trading a candlestick. You're not looking at market depth, right? You're not doing anything like that. So like even like if you're looking at a candlestick, you can even use certain candles that show you where the orders are within the candle. That would like be better. Right? Where like those are filled orders, not like the depth of the market. But at least you'd be able to see like where the volume was on a specific candle. Like that gives you something versus just like it stopped here and went here and then crossed down here. And it's like, you'll be doing that. You'll get lost in the sauce. because you'll never know exactly what was traded, right? And that's fine. I mean, there are strategies, ways you can be profitable like that, drawing lines and just saying, I'm going to play from this level. Cool. Yeah, do it. Nothing wrong with that. But just call it what it is. Both order flow and order block. You talk about both. Both are being both have been misused. Yeah, and yeah, there you go. And when you're in full trading mode, you're looking at the DOM. Yeah, a lot of professional traders just look at the DOM. Believe it or not, they don't even look at candles. They don't care about a chart. A lot of professional traders do not care about a chart. It's crazy, but it's true. They'll look at the DOM. They'll look at the DOM and they'll look at options flow, right? They'll look at stuff like that. They don't even need a chart because they know their levels, and then they watch it on the DOM. It's pretty simple. Honestly, if I created an indicator for this 30-second time frame that just tells me the measured length of these candles, the ATR, right, their full range, and I can have a tick chart, I can probably do just fine without even looking at the candles.
Zelensky says he had a
and just having my gamma levels
automatically
automatically marked out on my DOM. I'd probably do just fine. But I don't. So I like to look for things that are tightening up, which would be ATR in a way, right? And then also, if we get some expansion of volatility into some key levels is also what I like to look at. Yeah, Charlie, that's great. 2 weeks, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, anchored VWAPs are an incredible tool. Depth of market. DOM is depth of market. When I say depth of market, what I was referencing is level 2 data, but the DOM, when I say the DOM, I'm talking about the order, like the, just Google depth of market, the DOM. It's what I'm using to trade, where I'm executing my trades at, right? You click, you'll see the orders, the spread, and you'll see it fluctuating around on the futures market is where I use the DOM. Okay, let's go here to options flow. Still pretty bullish. Pretty bullish. And we're here at daily VWAP, kind of doodling around. Maybe I'll have another opportunity here. Holding up above the opening range for the first 30 seconds. I traded one MNQ contract down here, and I got out whenever I said I got out. And now I'm flat, waiting. The order book. Here we go. Yeah, you can do that with the DOM too as well. My DOM is basic. I don't have any metrics on there right now. I don't have anything on there. It's literally legitimately just for order entry at this current moment. That's all I really have for it right now. And then I'll have like bookmap up and stuff like that on occasion, but my strategy has been based around tick and flow, market net flow. NQ just kind of doodling around here, consolidating above opening range. Okay, while market net flow is still bullish. Well, it's kind of flattening out over here. Okay. Who's my DOM? Who's your DOM? No, when I'm talking about executing or just looking at DOM, I don't know what everyone else uses, but the DOM that I'm using is on Intraday. The depth market, that's my order execution. If you're looking at like market depth and stuff like that, the order book, level 2 data, there's so many different names for all this stuff, right? But that's in theory what it is. You're looking at where resting orders are, right? So if I go to bookmap and I type in ES, right? I'm looking at bookmap. I'm looking at their order book. Looking at depth of market. I'm looking at level 2 data, just visualized in a different kind of format, right? Give me a second. Give me 1 second. My boy wants to say hi. Hi, Asher. You want to say hi? Can you step over that? Come here. Oops. Hi, come here. Oh, my big boy. So wave hi. Say hi. What are you doing? Do you have fun at the park?
Show Daddy your knee. Because Daddy hurt me.
Scuffed it up. All right, Dad will be done soon.
Come here, baby. I'm going to get sandwiches when he sleeps. Do you want one?
Yeah, for sure.
Come here, baby.
You can go.
Let's go watch Miss Rachel. Let's go. Let's go. I know you love Daddy's office, huh? Daddy will come out when he's done
All right.
reading, okay?
I'll be finished up soon. Okay, so if I was to look at the ES, the order book, right? What it's showing me here are these red areas. This is kind of like a heat map of it. So like, oh, there's 153 contracts, right, on ES, right up here at 6305. Now, these are kind of small, right, levels. Like, you want to look at like 300 plus, 400 plus, and then you can really do something off those levels. But you can also watch things like, hey, as prices kind of went higher here, do you notice how like, oh, they're stair stepping up some of these kind of areas of liquidity, right? This one has, only 150 contracts or so, right? Nothing crazy, but there you go, right? So you can watch what's actually happening behind the scenes, where orders actually are, and how they change and how they adjust and how they fill as well. And you could do this with Bookmap. You can look at it just sometimes. There's other services that provide this type of data. Is it necessary? Absolutely not. It's not necessary. But if you're going to talk about the order book or in order blocks and actually the depth, the depth of market, and we're looking at this, you can't see this on a candlestick chart. You can pretend that you know, but you cannot actually confirm it. This is like taking the blindfold off. So if you're looking at a candlestick chart, you have a blindfold on, okay? All of a sudden your blindfold comes off and you can see what's going on in the market when you see this. Where orders are, where the fills are, where the volume's coming from, right? And at this point, you don't even need to have a candlestick chart. It's like I can zoom in and look at seconds of each order that hits the tape and where orders are hiding. It's pretty cool. But once again, it's not necessary. You don't necessarily need that. You just need to understand that that's what this is, right? Let's go to charts. All right, NQ still holding up. Market net flow is bullish, right? Kind of doodling around here on SPY. And NQ is kind of just getting hung up right at about this 25 handle. Okay. The little human algo. You need to teach him how to read level 2. The Asher bot revealed. Can I find down visually in TWS? Ooh, TWS, what is TWS? Is that TradeStation? I can't. The kid definitely has a better P&L than me. You guys are funny. Yeah, funny. How's it, Asher? He says, hello, Barkster. What software do I use for order flow? So I have Bookmap, right? I do, but Market Net Flow, which is looking at cumulative net premiums of calls and puts across the entire market. This to me is more this, but their version of it. And then they got like,
To be aware
I don't know what they have. They have all kinds of stuff. It's like called the Hero indicator or something like that.
Citing sources.
I don't know if it's the same thing, but that could be more of an all-inclusive place for like flows and stuff like that. Yeah. But all I've been using is TradeTix, and that's it. And Gamma Labs, 2 very inexpensive services. Well, TradeTix, the full suite is kind of expensive, and I don't even use it to its full ability. I just literally watch Market Net Flow, which is also in the Discord, but I bought this version too so I can share people because they like convergence. So I just said, I'll buy the damn thing. Darn thing. And then Gamma Labs is $15 a month. And then I have a promo code. I think I'm the only person that has a promo code for this. It's MSD50. And if you buy the, if you do that, then you get like 50% off the first month. So it's like $8. And then they have option metrics, systematic flows. like CTA positioning. Like you'll see me post this stuff, fall control positioning, COP positioning, which is free all over the place. Context charts, seasonality, volatility, 3 month versus 1 month. Pretty cool stuff. I don't even use all of this. I basically use net gamma and 1DTE, and then I love the time series because it helps me show visually what I'm talking about a lot of the time. Trader workstation from IBKR. Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't used it on IBKR. For IBKR, I do swing trading. So I use that firm. So I have an Interactive Brokers account and I do swing trading. So I'm not trading like the DOM or I'm not doing any futures trading from there or options or really. I've done options there before, but I only execute like swing trades. And I typically just do that from I have the IBKR desktop version. It's like newer, but lately I just been executing it on their online portal. Is all. Hey, what's up, Giancarlo? What's up? Tilray is getting high. Yeah, what is up with actually marijuana names? Let's go back to MSOS. Yeah, this one kind of broke out here. What's that one? It was called like Greenhouse or something like that. Greenhouse? No. Greenhouse. Dang it, what was the name of that? It's like 5 letters. Green Brick House. Dang it, I forget. All right, we'll look at Tilray. Yeah, Tilray's been squeezing here. What's coming down the pipeline for these marijuana stocks? What about MJ ETF? MJ ETF there, yeah. SNDL, wasn't that one back in the day? Yeah, it's getting a little squeezy McSqueezerson. Green Thumb, maybe? Green Thumb. What's the code? What was the ticker? It was like a very undercover marijuana name. And I forget. He's undercover. Thoughts on UNH? Yeah, I mean, it hasn't done anything. Just, I mean, I feel like most of it's been priced in. And now it's kind of consolidating, pulling back a little bit, maybe a little bit of a shakeout, but we've been seeing some higher lows here. So if this pops up, maybe that could be a good thing. Floating around, it's just going sideways, you know. Earnings not too far away. Kind of pulling back here. I have a position in UNH. I bought it down here. I don't mind holding on to it. I don't care if it goes down lower or whatever. It doesn't really bother me. It's not like it's a crazy high beta name, but lately it was one. What's up, T-Bone? Daryl, I sold MJ at 50% down. That's why it's up. That's why it's bouncing. Planet Third. GTBIF. Oh, actually, I think you might be right about that, you guys. GTBIF. Is that it? What was this at? Was it this one?
Just want to potentially be aware of Revolut is in talks to secure new funding.
It might be this one. It might have been this one, actually. I think you might be right.
Times, citing sources.
I thought it was like green brick or something like that. I can't put my thumb to it. Green thumb. I can't put my thumb to it. There's a lot of yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it quits on this day. It's right now, as we stand, market net flow is still bullish. We're kind of consolidating here. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It really doesn't. Market net flow, like I said, is still holding up, still bullish. We're above daily VWAP and we're above the opening range. So there's a bullish tilt to the markets, but be mindful that we just haven't gone anywhere, right? We haven't really gone anywhere. So, I don't know. Day done for me, at least for the day trading. And as far as swing trading goes, I didn't really do much today on swing trading perspective. I just looked up a lot of names. My account, I think it's down today.
Further on geopolitics, Hamas says it has agreed to release 10 hostages under the Gaza ceasefire talk efforts.
Didn't do anything really today. Toast got some action. So toast is there. Pizza is down. Where's it? Oh, Mondelez is down. Oh yeah, consumer staples name got hit. Mondelez. That one was a great trade at the beginning, but now it's reversed on me. Let me take a look at Mondelez. Yeah, this was a cool breakout. It was nice. I played it down here. And then we saw a nice quick pop to break out and completely faded. A lot of consumer staples kind of came down. So that's not really looking all too hot now, but we'll see. It's not like a crazy up. Oh man, I missed the selling yesterday on it. I should have probably had a little bit of selling down there at around 500. That was a nice move. Shoot. So I played this over here on this, like, and then it went up, and I redrew it out, and then it came up all the way here. So that would have been nice to take some of those profits off up there if I would have paid attention, but I didn't. Now we have this kind of reversal candle, and it's getting some follow through today. Overall, the position's holding up. I would probably draw this more out like this now, right? Like this.
A bit further from Hamas, it says that points are still being negotiated, a
Right.
flow of aid and withdrawal of Israel from the Gaza Strip, and genuine guarantees for a permanent ceasefire.
Kind of just sideways price action. It's holding up pretty nicely. See where to watch Powell speak. Is Powell speaking? Gosh, man, so many stuff's going on here. Is he speaking or something? I feel like it would be here if he was speaking.
And Hamas says that talks are tough because of Israeli intransigence.
Hey, Sam saying, yeah, I'm live today. I'm live. It's been a minute. Lucid. Oh my gosh, I haven't heard of Lucid for a minute here. Yeah, it's got a little
WTI
squeeze the
crude
other
futures,
day.
they settle high today by 5 cents at $68.38.
Kind of keeps getting
per
hung up
barrel.
at this little lower area here. Kind of, it's like this little floor at the $2. We've been just seeing lower highs to it, but these squeezes are becoming pretty pronounced, right? Lower squeezes, but pretty big squeezes up to these levels, then faded completely. So I guess be more careful under 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock, under 2 and under this area. But if that can hold, I guess that'd be a good thing. Okay. Yeah, I think it's time for me to get some food. I have had 0 food today. Sam, the 30-second trading strategy. So I'm just looking at a 30-second chart. I'm not really trading these candles per se. By the way, this looks actually kind of good if I am looking at 30 seconds right here. This is getting pretty tight. So we'll probably see a move here. I don't know if that's upside or downside. I'd be more upside biased because we're above opening range, above daily VWAP, but it's getting pretty tight here. So it's not like I'm looking at the 30-second chart, but I'm looking at like market net flow. I'm looking at tick levels. I'm looking at gamma levels. And then really when I'm looking at this chart, I'm looking at for things that tighten up like this, right, for one. But then two, I'm also watching range of the candles and range of expansion of these candles, because when volatility comes in, there's some opportunities to kind of like arbitrage that, or you fade it, I should say. All right. I mean, bullish after the minutes, yeah, because the minutes dropped and we're up higher from that. So right now it's bullish, right? And then I would even consider this little shorter term price pattern here, somewhat bullish. And then market net flow, it's bullish. Flatten out a little bit, and then our daily implied move is up here at 623, right? We got gamma levels kind of reaching to 6240. We're above that right now. So traders aren't really 6270. I would like to see these things grow in size to feel a little bit more confident about it. But they're not. So we have kind of more exposure down here, traders, but that can create gamma squeezes as well. Yeah. Yeah, no, I would definitely be leaning bullish here. This would be the bullish lean. That's what I would say. Market net flow is good. The only kind of downside that I'm trying to look for here is that traders aren't necessarily reaching out further from a 1 TTE perspective on SPX. 6240 is the call wall, and we're clear above that. So large caps, if they want to lead the way, that'd be very, very beneficial. Now, I will say 6275 was the main level at the beginning of the trading session. That's where people put their focus on. Is my audio cutting out? Sorry. My voice is cutting out too. Okay. I think I'm going to call it quits there. I went over a lot today. I am exhausted. Oh my goodness. But hopefully you guys got some stuff from it. Guys, gals, whoever's in the channel. See ya, Palm Tree. See ya, T. See ya, Sam. See ya, Andrew. Parkster. DD. Exotic. Exotic. It's going to be exotic. AA. Thanks for joining out there on Twitch. Nobody. See ya. Yeah, maybe the audio's cutting out. Getting tired. See ya, Rosebud. See ya, Darth. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being around here. Sam. See ya. Nikita. Bye-bye. See ya, Vinny. See you, Mario. See you, Giancarlo. Comrade. Thank you all for tuning in today. Had a nice, good stream today. We got up pretty high there in concurrent viewers when the FOMC came around, up to 525. Got a nice little spike there. Take care. See you, Sam, Mr. V. Toodly, toodly, doodly, doo, doo, doo. See you, External. See you. See you, Diarger. Joe. See you, Sam. See you, Stinky Man of the Woods. You're welcome, Tota. More live streams. Thanks, Leonardo. Oh, okay, I'm out. Goodbye.